inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
Good morning, it's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Happy Sunday to you. My name's Shebahn Aherne alongside former Chelsea and Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
One more time for the microphone.
There
you go.
Good morning. What's happened there?
We've just done you dirty. Dear oh dear, Arsenal. Could it be happening again? Alex Scott got the winner for Bournemouth. Arsenal dropped 3 massive points at the Emirates, live on talkSPORT.
Ball running through to Scott, who's running through the centre. He's charging through the middle and he slammed it home. And Arsenal are behind again. Alex Scott scores for Bournemouth.
Hashtag drama. In other news, Liverpool's wonder kid shines again. Rio Ngumo's worldie led Liverpool to a 2-0 win against Fulham.
And it's an absolute screamer from the wonder kid Ngumo. Liverpool 1, Fulham 0. It's very much against the run of play of the last 10 minutes.
I think a lot of Liverpool fans want to see more of him, Arnie. And it was a routine win for the Gypsy King at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last night. Post-fight, Fury mentioned who he wanted to have a go at next.
Let's give the fight fans what they want. The Battle of Britain. And here's my challenge. I challenge you, Andy Joshua, to fight me, the Gypsy King, next!
Hate when he sits on the fence like that. Yeah, back in the ring, another win for Tyson Fury. Much to discuss, not to mention the Masters as well and the Grand National. We'll get into it all. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Good morning. Right, I'll say it before you say it.
Go on.
Bit much. The top.
Oh, the pink.
It's
It's very bright.
On the camera, it looks brighter than it should be. Like, put your sunglasses on if you're putting on the smart TV, because I actually look like my pen.
It is quite bright.
It's a bit bright. Apologies.
Yeah. It's Penelope Pitstop.
Penelope Pitstop.
Yeah, have you know that?
I know who that is. Yeah, I do. Yeah, she'll go far. I'm proud of you this morning because every day part of the role to be in the studio with Tony Cascarino is to put his earpiece in the morning because he struggles with it. And you had a go at it yourself today, but it's upside down.
Oh, is it upside down?
What?
Well, it's, you know why? Because they keep coming out. You know, they keep
Footy little
disconnecting.
things, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a bit fiddly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's easier for someone else to do it.
Someday, because
I have this trainee that's come in and shoots the band.
It's part of the work experience role here.
Yeah.
It's the kind of things you used to do.
Is it that bad?
No, it's fine. I'll fix it.
I can hear and I can hear.
That's a good thing you can do.
It is a bit weird because I like normally have headphones. I've always been comfortable with headphones, but because of the way we're moving with TV and everything, it's sort of earpiece. Yeah. But I'm totally deaf on my left side.
Yeah.
So that's my issue.
Well, there's many a time that I am having a full-on conversation with you, and then I realise, he's still got the earpiece in the right ear, and he's deaf in the other ear.
Yeah.
So that was all for nothing.
Yeah.
And I feel that I've told you my life story and like really important personal things. And then
so many people, Shebahn, honestly, think that I've been rude when they talk to me on my left side and I don't acknowledge them because I can't hear them. Because if I'm hearing noise elsewhere, anyone who's got just one side of hearing, you would know that any surrounding noise is awkward.
Well, absolutely. And then sometimes you could be reading a paper or writing your notes. You've still got the earpiece in, and the studio door's on Cass's left-hand side, which is his deaf side. Yeah. And some of the producers will come in and give him a message, and he'll just blank them straight up.
It's not I'm being rude.
No, you just don't know they're there. Yeah. And I'll just say to them, he can't hear you. No. Try the other side. And then we get there in the end. That's why we love you, Cass.
Oh, I get it a lot at home as well.
At least you can say, I'm deaf in one ear, Joe. Gaze peace. Like,
yeah, well, she knows. She was the one who spotted it.
Does she come round to the other side to deliver?
She does, but initially she knew I had a problem going a number of years back.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long was it?
I had a tumour and I didn't know, and it was growing. And I had it removed in 2018. But Joe's sister had the same problem, and one day Joe said, "You've got exactly the same problem as our Debbie."
Yeah.
And I went to see a specialist, and he confirmed it. Yeah. Yeah, and so I had to have it removed.
So with the tumour coming out, is that what led to the...
Well, they had to sever the nerve leading to my brain, to my ear. So it's from my ear to my brain. There was a tumour sitting on it.
Yeah.
And they had to remove it. So it was benign, so I was really lucky.
Yeah. I feel kind of bad now for making...
That's what I was meant to do, make you feel bad with your pink top on.
I guess. This is awkward. Thank you. And that's all we've got time for on today's show. Speaking of embarrassing, shall we talk about what happened yesterday at the Emirates? Here's how it all went down on talkSPORT.
Mikel Arteta said, bring your lunch, bring your dinner, bring your energy. Let's see what's on the menu. Running through to Scott, who's running through the centre. He's charging through the middle and he slammed it home. And Arsenal are behind again.
None of us really thought Arsenal would blow their lead at the top of the table, and they might still win the title. But the door is now wedged wide open.
They've been beaten by the Cherries here at the Emirates.
And Everton may just have rescued a point. It is Brentford 2, Everton 2. Kieran Dewsbury Hall is the man who sent the travelling fans into raptures. It means the two teams stay where they were, Brentford in 7th, Everton in 8th.
Wherever they finish from here on in, Cookie, would be a wonderful season for them.
Burnley 0, Brighton 2, and it's Mats Viva yet again with his second goal of the season. My goodness, Burnley are going down. Burnley 0, Brighton 2.
It's been a pathetic effort from Burnley this season.
Liverpool 2, Fulham 0, and it's Mo Salah who's got it. Liverpool, after being on the back foot for 5 or 10 minutes, have got 2 in 3 or 4 minutes themselves, and Fulham have got a mountain to climb. Liverpool 2, Fulham 0.
Unbelievable day yesterday. So much going on. It all started early doors with Arsenal here on talkSPORT dropping points. They could have gone 12 points clear of Man City ahead of their game today with Chelsea, but not to be. Fair play, Bournemouth, a really solid performance from them. And then late last night, our Rory McIlroy dropping a 6-shot lead. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, it was mad.
We'll talk about the golf really soon. We discussed it yesterday going into the game. I had my reservations over Arsenal for this one because you've said it all season, Bournemouth are a good side.
Yeah, they are. And they're dangerous. And they play with pace. And they're direct at times. And they look to test you in many different parts of the pitch and do it brilliantly well. I said one of the best performances I've seen all season was the first 60 minutes against Crystal Palace away, where Bournemouth were phenomenal. And they're so dangerous. Now, yesterday, Bournemouth did it again, where they caused Arsenal problems. And there's one thing that's driving me mad about what Arsenal are doing. And it's a simple thing, because we can talk about players' performances, who's been up and who's been down. Look, there's a number of Arsenal players, you know, especially the wide men who are coming in, and there's a number of wide players who are not quite performing. Zubimendi's totally off his game at the moment. But this is driving me mad. And it stems from the goalkeeper, because Arsenal were very fortunate to get away with some of the casual passing from Raya. Now, this is the thing that got me yesterday more than anything. They're willing to take risks in their own half, Arsenal, but they're not prepared to take risks in the opposition's box. They're not doing it enough.
Why?
Well, for whatever reason, they're doing all their dangerous passing is at the back, going into midfield, starting the play-off. But when they get to the final third, they're going inside and sideways and backwards and out the other side. Flip it. Do the dangerous passing in their opposition box and don't take risks at your back line. To me, it's such an obvious.
Is that because they've not got the personnel?
No, they've got the personnel. It's easy to say to defenders, you squeeze up a bit, you make it difficult. If it's not on to play, Raya, don't play. If it's on, give it to them. You know, you can make the quick throw-outs and, you know, send a fullback away really quickly. The pace of Arsenal's game was slow. It was too passive. But they're really risky when Raya had the ball yesterday. They were taking all sorts of risks, but they never had the same intentions in the opposition's sort of half. They were never doing it.
Which might lead to the fans being a little bit flat as well. Cass, I'm getting a bit... You don't want to join in the bandwagon of people making fun of Mikel Arteta, right? But does he need to just chill out with the whole theatrics? I mean, yesterday, this rally and cry in the press conference, bring your lunch, bring your dinner. We see on the big screen in training, they've got TikTok reels to try and encourage the players. Don't forget, last season he was calling out, bring your boots, and he did that video, and it's just like, chill out. You know, just focus on the basics. Stop worrying about trying to get everyone to think you're this big hype club and get us all up for it, because at the moment it's kind of cringe, FC.
Well, what you're seeing is when they cross the white line is completely different than what's being said.
Exactly. And it's drawing attention to that. For me, I'm looking now at a side, I'm going, have you got the character? Because you're chucking it like you have, but can you walk the walk?
Yeah.
You know, out of 2 trophies so recently, they have to now win the Premier League or the Champions League. It has to be the Premier League.
Absolutely, Shebahn. And you can feel it with the crowd. They're getting anxiety and they're getting angry, and they're seeing their team not do the things, and they're not caring too much about, oh, we can play it from the back and do everything brilliantly and we can play. It's not the time of the year where you're looking for incredible performances of, you know, this is not the Henry, Bergkamp, Pires team that could have a swagger about them.
Yes.
They're not that. They're a methodical, good side that have absolutely done a lot of good things right this season. They're not that at the moment. They're a side that is actually nervous. To me, I'm watching yesterday and I'm thinking, stop playing in your own area and just get to... Gyökeres had no support at all yesterday. You know, if you look at the 2 wide players, Madueke and Gabriel Martinelli, who both of them were anonymous.
Yeah.
And look, Saka's taken some stick as well during the course of the season. He's not played as well. Okay, players go in and out of form, but don't gift the opposition opportunities. Bournemouth, I know they were played with incredible freedom. I get that. But their instruction was to do that as well. Their instruction was quite clear. We're going to press you high. We're going to wait till Raya gets the ball. And when he does, we're going to really close you down quickly. And when we win it, we're going to win it in a good area. That's exactly what they did yesterday, and they do it brilliantly. And the two fullbacks, I'm going to give a mention because I thought both of them, Jimenez yesterday and Truffert.
Yeah,
I thought they were terrific. They handled the 2 wingers brilliantly. But Arsenal don't have to get caught up in all this. You know, we'll just keep playing in dangerous parts of the pitch and just play all your best passes, all your forward passes in the opposition's half.
I think a lot of fans will agree with you on that. Give us a call this morning, 0371 722 3344. Arsenal fans, have you got the character here to really get the job done? Are you starting to B-word it already? Is that just too soon to say? But you expected more yesterday. Let's hear from Mikel Arteta. He said to talkSPORT that the team must take responsibility.
We need to look at ourselves first, because a lot of the incredible things that the team has done for 9 months have to remain the same in the last 7 weeks of the competition, in both competitions. And today we weren't there. This is sport. It happens, and now is a good scenario to see how we're going to react to that as a team.
Mikel Arteta there.
Look, they've gone this far and they're going to blow up. That's what they're showing to everybody. Yeah? And look, Mikel Arteta can question his team. Apart from Declan Rice yesterday, who was Arsenal's best player by a country mile, that team, I didn't think, had the discipline and the instruction to go out and put a performance in. It didn't have to be great. It had to have some sort of end product. It didn't have any of it.
Yeah. Arsenal fans, let's hear from you this morning. Gyökeres did media after the game yesterday. He said the pitch didn't help. It was a bit dry. Oh, the comments on that. I mean, come on. You're at home, mate. You're at the Emirates. Stop talking. Arsenal fans, are the excuses in already? Are you worried about Wednesday in the return leg against Sporting? It is at the Emirates. That should be a fortress. It certainly wasn't yesterday. Let's hear from you. 03717 223344 81089 is the text number. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Search VW Transporter to find out more.
How does he go about saving Spurs? Because we were talking about this on the Premier League All Access podcast. He's a pure football man. He wants to play a certain way, but the time it takes to get that injected into the players' veins is not long enough for the time that he's had in terms of being on the training ground. So does he have to be a little bit more simple in his approach? Does he have to work with the resources he's got?
Yeah.
And what are those?
What has he had? He's probably had nearly 10 days maybe before the game kicks off. He can't have that hard approach, I don't think, at this stage. That's got to be something in the summer, and you work out who's with you, who's not. At the moment, he's got to work out what formation he's going to play, who's going to be his best players. And you look at the midfielders available, bring them down, Sam, like Bergvall, Gallagher, Paulinho, Sarr, Gray. Out of those centre midfielders, who do you choose out of them?
Well, it's great to have Bergvall back for a start, and it's great to have a choice, because one of the problems they've had over the season is they haven't been able to have a choice because there's been so many injuries.
But even going forward, Tell, Simmons.
Kudus has picked up a setback, hasn't he?
Exactly. Mwani, Solanke, Richarlison. He's got to work out which of these players is going to get the goals that they need. Van der Ven, second top goal scorer. Richarlison's got 9. Then Van der Ven and Romero have got 4. And I think Tell's got 3. It's not good enough. It's really not good enough. Someone.
a golf, dressed in PVC. I chanced upon a golf girl selling cups of tea. She asked me, did I
Nobody plays golf in PVC. That's some weird fantasy.
I've never heard that song.
This is Caravan. Golf Girls.
Oh, I've never heard it.
There you go. Out in 1971. Should
Wow.
know it well, Cass. Should know this one.
All these golf. What we're doing golf again today? Golf.
Why not? I mean, a little bit of golf, or like maybe.
You think of another idea?
Maybe nervousness for Arsenal, possibly. We could do a bit like nervy songs.
Well, that was. I know I went into a sort of full meltdown there with Arsenal, but it's. Well, it's. Do you know what really gets to me is that they're so close and they've done so much, and it's all going to blow up just because of a few things that have gone wrong in recent weeks. You know, it's only been the last couple of weeks. If the League Cup final affected them that badly, how have they got in a position that it's affected them that badly in the league as well?
I don't know if they've got the mentality. I really don't. I mean, they've proven in the past that they don't. Okay? So we need to see now that they've got the medal.
But the manager must take a hold on this.
No, but I'm
He
sorry,
has to,
we mentioned
Shebahn.
it there. The manager's got to stop the nonsense. He's got to stop, like you mentioned there in the break, like playing You'll Never Walk Alone in training last season. What? Cool. Keep it indoors.
Yeah.
Stop putting that out for the press, for people to see, for it to use as a stick to beat you with, because I don't think his players can handle it.
No, well, it's there was a big sign yesterday because that. I'm not taking anything away from Bournemouth because I've waxed lyrical about them, loads of times this season, and yesterday Arsenal just blew up in the game.
Yeah. I'd be concerned about Sporting at Emirates on Wednesday. You would be concerned because it's tough for them at the moment.
Players do feel the fans' frustration and anger. Yeah. You do feel it when you're out there.
Yeah.
You can sense it. You just, you can hear the rumblings. When teams and it turns for you, people get angry because they can see it. Arsenal fans are looking at their team and thinking, yeah, everybody in the outside are against us and don't want us to win. But we're now, giving them reason to think that Arsenal ain't going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. Arsenal fans, 81089, you can let us know your thoughts this morning. Arsenal are the England of the Premier League bottle jobs. That's from John this morning. 81089, you can get in touch with us. Did Rory bottle it yesterday? Rory McIlroy?
I could never accuse an individual of bottling it when they've won 5 majors.
Yeah.
Rory never got going. He actually played like he did in the first 2 rounds, but didn't hole any putts. And he was wayward again. I mean, he's had 3 rounds in a row, really, where he's just hit the ball everywhere off the tee, and he's paid the ultimate price. And other players around him, if you look at the numbers of other players, I'd written a few down because Cameron Young and Cameron Young had 65 and he had 8 birdies and 1 bogey. Yeah. And then you look at Sam Byrne, who again didn't have a bogey on his card and had 4 birdies. Really solid. He's playing alongside Rory, and he sort of intimidated him right from the first because he got a birdie and Rory got a bogey. Yeah. He dropped 2 shots in the first hole.
And what about Lowry and his hole-in-one?
Oh, he's unreal. He don't stop getting them, does he?
Unbelievable.
Is he the most laid-back golfer you've ever seen?
Do you remember last year, though, on the penultimate day, when he was talking about, when the press were asking him about Rory, like how Rory's going to be feeling, he's like, guys, I'm trying to win the Masters as well. Do you remember he kind of bit a little bit, and I thought, fair enough.
Yeah, well,
why is it we always kind of underestimate?
Yeah, and we all have our favourites, but I mean, Shane's a wonderful golfer. It's so natural, and it looks easy to him. I actually think he does. He obviously does practice really hard, but I could imagine him as well turning up and going, I haven't played for 2 weeks, and go around and shoot a great score.
Can't wait. By the way, it's lined up nicely then for tonight to see who wins.
Oh yeah, it's made, and it might suit Rory in a way because if he'd said to Rory at the start of the, before it started the majors that you'll be in the final group, he'd have gone, I'll take that all day long. Yeah. That's where he is. So that's where he's got to get real and recognise him where he is.
Yeah.
And that's what Arsenal have to do. Get real. You're still top of the league. So play like you're top of the league.
Interesting. You can let us know your thoughts this morning. The phone lines are open, 03717 223344. Liverpool fans, you'll be pleased. Ended a bad run of results to stay in the Champions League places, beating Fulham 2-0 at Anfield. Mo Salah back on it. 17-year-old Rio Ngomoa got his 2nd goal of the season to round it off. Manager Arne Slot praised the youngsters' impact after the game.
Yeah, he made the important 1-0, which is in football goals are so crucial because, as I said many times, it's a low-scoring sport, so you can be the dominant team, which we've been, except for Paris Saint-Germain away, a lot of times this season, but we couldn't convert the chances or we couldn't convert being the better team into goals. And today Rio showed why I play him more and more and more, because he's getting stronger and stronger and fitter and more ready to already play at 17 years of age at this level, which where he dominated a 1v1 situation, which is crucial in football, and that's why we went 1-0.
Can he rely now on Rio going forward?
Well, he knows he's got a terrific young player. Does he want to play him against PSG with Hakimi being the right fullback? I'm not so sure. I think he'll be a bit edgy about maybe making that selection. But Liverpool 2-0 down. So there you have to have a risk element to the way you want to play. If you want to make it a night of, really taking it to PSG, because you're going to have to, because they're going to score at Anfield. They're definitely going to score. I can't see them not.
If you're a 17-year-old Rio, do you want to play that game?
Oh, absolutely. You should be loving it. And the kid's got confidence. And when you're naive, one of the great things about naivety is that you don't really know. Look, again, I'm never as good. I was a teenager when I first come into the game, and I was raw, and that gave me a bit of an advantage in some ways, because you just take it on. You'd feel the moment. That's what Rio's doing.
You're excited.
Yeah. He's getting on the ball and he's going, I don't know if I'm going to go left or right, and I'm going to get to me full back, but you know what? I'm going to try. I'm going to try and beat him. He's not like, I love Trossard at Arsenal. I'm going to keep going back to Arsenal, but I really do think he's a very clever footballer. But yesterday, he kept getting to a position of standing up and not taking the risk of taking the fullback on. Martinelli does similar things at times. When he's direct and goes, I'm going to, come on. Well, that's why he's a good sub, because you just go, come on, he'll take somebody on. Mm-hmm. Rio was doing that. Yeah. He was coming on and going, I might go inside, I might go outside, but I'm going to take you on. I'm going to try and get to the byline.
You want to see more of him, that's for sure. We'll see if he'll be part of it. Of course, this week, all of the Champions League second round games for the knockout stage is going to be live here on talkSPORT. Here's what else is coming up for you on talkSPORT today. Straight after us, it's the brilliant show, the Sunday edition. Sean Custis and Henry Winter, Max and Charlie, who's in for Barry Glendenning, have got the warm-up for you. That starts at 11 o'clock. And then Sam Matterface here on Game Day Live from 1:30 with all of the goals from all over the gaff as they go in. And Imagine Pards back with the final word Sunday night before the Trans-Euro Express at 9 o'clock. Coming up next, we're going to get stuck into the EFL Virtue Trophy final at Wembley later this afternoon. It's the Weekend Breakfast. Good morning.
Managers can be petulant, players can be petulant, just like owners can be.
De Zerbi was. You can say De Zerbi, and he's walked into the Tottenham job.
Would you take him? Would you take him at Chelsea?
Right here, right now.
Why are you hesitating?
Well, because that's just it's a rhetorical question.
I know, but
would you take him at Spurs?
Yeah, I would have, but we got De Zerbi.
I know, but you're facing relegation.
You got Rossini as the manager.
That's not the question.
Okay, the question is? Would you take him at Chelsea?
No. Why?
Well,
that give you a reason, right? No.
What do you mean? I want a reason.
Because he's petulant.
No, that's not a reason.
Well, it is.
You've had loads of petulant managers.
I know, but
you've had hundreds of them.
They get sacked.
Okay, but that's absolute garbage. Don't tell me you wouldn't take Glasner over Rossini.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, mate.
No.
What are you on about?
You're throwing your pen down.
What are you on about?
You're like a petulant child.
No, I know, but you're just an idiot. Like, I know you've got your little Chelsea gig. I know you've got your little Chelsea gig going on over there.
I don't get me own way.
No.
So I'm throwing my pen down.
Mate,
childish are you?
No. That is absolute
How's
guff.
that one? Throw
No,
that.
it's absolute guff.
Right.
You're talking absolute garbage. Don't talk garbage. Glasner is a million times.
How's it going this morning? You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne alongside former Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino. You can't just listen to us now, you can watch us as well on the smart TV. Bring your sunglasses, you'll understand when you turn on. Here are some of your headlines this morning. Harry Kane's Bayern Munich broke the record for the most goals scored in a single Bundesliga season. They thrashed St. Pauli to open up a 12-point lead. At the top of the table, Ipswich Town regained second place in the Championship and completed a first league double over East Anglian rivals Norwich City for 33 years. 2-0. That one finished. It was over on talkSPORT 2. And Mats Wife brace helped Brighton clinch victory against struggling Burnley and boost their hopes of European football. Fabian Hertzler says it's still too early though to talk about the Seagulls in Europe.
I think because the media, we definitely have it, but I just mentioned it, like when we had a bad run, when we had the beginning of the season, now with the end of the season, with a good run, I always talk about performance. I never talked about results. I never talked about where we want to go. So therefore, that's now very important to keep the consistency in the messaging, to keep emphasizing the right things, but we also emphasize in the bad run. Now we have a good run, but we emphasize the same things, and that's like having the right approach, having the right work ethic every day, having the right habits, the right standards, and use every training session to improve. And then we have another big challenge ahead of us against Tottenham, and that's our biggest focus now.
Is that a sound message from Fabian Hertzler? Just kind of focusing at one game at a time, not an ambition for the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one because it wasn't so long ago, Shebahn, wasn't it? That he was under pressure.
Yeah.
And Brighton fans were not happy. And so his job could have been at risk. It just shows you how fickle football can be.
It really is. Yeah.
It really is. I mean, look, did I expect them to win? I think most of us did yesterday because Burnley are basically down. And when they're on their game, Brighton, they're a dangerous side. They got flair, they got goals, they can, there's always someone who seems to step up.
Who do you think's going to get that spot? Brentford, Everton or Brighton? Currently occupied by Brentford.
Yeah, I more likely Everton.
Yeah. Because of Moyes' experience?
Well, just, I think what I've seen of Everton is they feel a little bit more solid and and they've just started to get goals in the. If you take the new year from Barry and Beto, they, between the two of them, they didn't look like in the first part of the season either of them were going to get goals, and they've gradually one or the other has stepped in and got goals, and then you've got people like Kieran Dewsbury's done really well for Chelsea since he joined. Spent quite a bit of money on him. They get Ndoma as well. They've got decent players. Garner. They've got some really talented lads that can keep driving them forward, and they're solid enough defensively.
Yeah. Good morning to many of you on the text messages this morning. Hi, Conrad. He said Shebahn Aherne Tony Mikel Arteta reminds me of Kevin Keegan's meltdown with Sir Alex Ferguson. Pep's silence is winding him up. And Cash, you're right. Defenders don't like midfield players coming to you at speed. They're running and a defender has a stand and start. Keep it simple. Have a go. Good morning to AB. Shebahn, I agree with you 95%. I've been Arteta out since last year, but I will say the screen and training criticism is unfair. They used it for tactics. When the cameras were on them, they showed TikTok videos. That's my point. Don't let us see that. Because this is what they're using then to hold against you. That they're more interested in what's on the big screen and the TikToks and whatnot, and bring your boots and bring your dinner and you'll never walk alone, that actually you can become a bit of a laughingstock.
Well, yeah, you can be a bit of a parody, can't you?
Yeah.
And that has happened slightly.
It's a bit, Brent.
Look, if you win, you can do nearly anything. Everything's right when you win. When you lose, people start questioning things. Why are you doing that? And the bottom line is, you crossed the white line. You had a performance to do yesterday. You didn't do it. Mm-hmm. You were well short. You didn't even look close to being champions yesterday.
I think that's fair. Let's focus now on what's coming up today. Luton Town and Stockport County meet at Wembley in the EFL Virtue Trophy final. It's live on talkSPORT 2 for you this afternoon. Stockport 5th in League One on a 5-game unbeaten run to keep them firmly in the promotion mix. And in 10th place at Luton have surged under Jack Wilshere with just one defeat in their last 10. We can hear from the Luton boss now. Jack Wilshere, also known from talkSPORT, wants his team to embrace playing at Wembley.
Really looking forward to it. I think since the semi-final, I wanted everyone, staff, players, the whole environment, just to focus on the games we had in between that. And to be fair, we've done that really well. We found a bit of rhythm, found a bit of momentum, which we needed to do. Now it's here. We've had a chance to sit down with the staff, talk about it, how we want to attack it. We spoke to the players for the first time today about it, on how we can go about winning the game. And there's a really nice feeling around the place, which is natural. Our job is to try and focus on the process of winning the game. I heard a lot of times throughout my career when I played in finals, don't play the occasion, which is really important, but also the reality is it is a different occasion and it is a different environment, so we have to embrace that and then be ready to try and win the game.
Luton boss Jack Wilshere there. We've got Luton fan and content creator with us this morning, Uncle Reegs. Regin Johnson-Hines is with us now. Good morning, Uncle Reegs. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So, I mean, it's a funny one, isn't it, with Luton? Because Jack Wilshere has had some really strange periods, and you're sort of you're close to being a playoff team as well, because if you've got a couple of games in hand, if you win them, you can sneak yourself in the top 6. But there you are, playing a final.
Yeah, it's really strange. I mean, it kind of feels like, it feels like the season hasn't gone exactly how it's gone. We've had such bad games this season, such little bad moments. The away form has been awful this season, but yeah, Jack has really turned it on, and he's won the fans back. He lost us for quite a few games, and he's definitely got us back on their side. Same with the players as well, and I feel like we're playing some really good football. So I'm excited for today and then for the rest of the season as well. I mean, we've been unbeaten in Easter. This is exactly what we wanted this season, and if we can only get it towards the end and then get playoffs, I think a lot of people will be happy. Yeah,
it's a weird one, because when you have a manager that was born in Luton and sort of a Lutonian, if you like, and there he is winning over the fans, because initially it would have been an absolute, we've got Jack Wilshere coming in from Arsenal, we're all, and everyone's excited. Then it turns a little bit rusty, and then you get going again. So he's a young manager, so you're going to have some sort of roller coaster ride with Jack, because he's learning on the job.
Yeah, we've had quite a few young managers since Nathan Jones.
Yeah,
and we've had various bits of success with them, and then we've also had like the dark days, where we go like 6 games without a win, or we go like last season we went like flipping like 20 games without an away win. You know, it's really sad because I think a lot of fans don't realise that right now we are the club that you will send a young manager to. We're in League One and we have literally nothing to play for. So I think Jack Wilshere coming to our club was actually the perfect move for him. And with him being a Lutonian as well, you know, he has so much like love for the club. And it feels like he's one of our own taking us on. Even though he went to Arsenal at a young age, he was playing for the Luton Academy. So, and he lives in Hitchin. So it's like he's just in and around. Yeah, he's in and around with us. But yeah, it's tough on young managers because, you know, there's a lot of expectation when you come to a club like Luton, who were just in the Premier League. You know, we've been relegated twice. There is a bit of pressure from the fans. But from his point of view and from probably the board's point of view as well, there's probably no pressure on him to deliver everything this season. You know, he's come in and he's trying to make sure that the boat is staying steady, and he's done that.
Yeah, no, he has. Fair play to him. He's really turned it around, because I think last time we were speaking really about Jack at Luton was when he was having it out with the fans, which feels like a long time ago now, but also in a short space of time. Now, last time you were at Wembley, that was when you went up to the Premier League, so there's a bit of luck for you there today. Yeah,
I mean, it was an emotional day, that game. It was like 12 years of pure hard work, and all of the cold nights in Port Vale, and all of the flipping the Braintree aways and all of that, to go in and then actually securing the thing that we've been trying for 12 years. Everyone called us delusional when we said that we wanted to get to the Prem, and when we finally did it, it was amazing. And everything went wrong that day. That's all I can really say. Everything went wrong that day, apart from the fact that we won the game. And when we went to penalties, everyone was scared because we don't win on penalties. That's one thing that Luton don't do. We don't win on penalties. But yeah, I feel like that's why we've kind of sold out most of Wembley today, is because, you know, it's like the family day out, and then the feel-good factor, and a lot of people have lost loved ones since the playoff final, so they're going back to Wembley to get that sort of memorabilia and that sort of stuff, and also to support the boys. You know, it's a chance to win a trophy. Why wouldn't we? Yeah,
well, I've had a personal relationship with Luton because my missus is from Luton. I knew John Steele very well. I classed John as a good friend. He had a great time as Luton manager. Mick Hartford, who I played for, obviously he's involved at the club and always has been the legend of the club. So I've always had a huge affection for it. And you've got a great fan base, a bit like Stockport, who again will sell out a good few today, because it will make it a really entertaining final, having a great crowd on both sides.
Yeah, it's an all-hatters final. So it's gonna be amazing. I mean, I'm excited to play Stockport. They haven't beaten us this season, but again, anything can happen when you step on that Wembley pitch. You know, it's a completely different atmosphere, and the pitch is a lot bigger. And I think Stockport will find that, and we will find that as well. And I feel like that kind of works in our favour with the way that we play. You know, I mean, with Jack, we like to play expansive, to be honest. A lot of possession football, trying to get it to the wings, back to the middle, to the sides, getting it to Emilio Lawrence, and then putting the ball in towards Jordan Clark, because I mean our strikers aren't very strikerish this year. Maybe El Hamadi. Maybe El Hamadi will be there.
Well, listen, good luck to you. You're going to the game today. Enjoy every moment. I hope it brings you some good luck today. All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take care of yourself. That's Uncle Riggs, Regin Johnson Hines, content creator and Luton fan. Like you say, you've got an affiliation with Luton from your wife.
So have you.
My husband's grew up in Luton, and actually there was some really tragic news, and I actually think Uncle Riggs was alluding to it there. 13-year-old Noah Campbell passed away. He came through the Luton Town Academy. He passed away in a tragic accident a couple of weekends ago, and I think his dad was a footballer around Luton as well. He passed away in a car accident, and today all supporters are being encouraged to join in a minute's applause, the 13th minute of Sunday's Virtue Trophy final at Wembley. Only 13 years old. No. Tragic accident. So sending love and thoughts to Noah and all of his family, and hopefully it can go Luton's Town's way today at Wembley. It's going to be live on talkSPORT 2, 3 o'clock kickoff. Stockport take on Luton. Looking forward to that one. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we'll get into this morning's back pages of the newspapers.
Eddie Howe deserves to keep his job definitely in the summer, rebuild his squad of players, probably no European football next season. But you have to be honest and say the Premier League season hasn't been good enough at Newcastle standards. That's fine.
But is that because of the fact that they haven't got a deep enough squad?
Of course, they haven't got a deep enough squad, but the players that they've had available, they shouldn't be behind Sunderland in the league.
But aren't we back to the same discussion that we had when we were talking about Aston Villa? And that is that they have owners that are wealthy, probably wealthier than everybody else, but yet they're unable to spend because of the financial restrictions. And as a result, that's keeping them further down the pecking order.
Who do you think?
Because you look at their last few seasons, Champions League, qualification, then out.
Yep.
Great season getting to the winning the cup competition, getting to the Champions League, and then out. So what's next season? Another great season, and then the following season not being able to sustain it?
The problem they've got...
It's up and down, up and down, up and down. Because
the problem they've got as well is, do they have to sacrifice a player as well? Like Aston Villa have? Is that Tonali? Is that Gamira's? Which one is it that they have to sacrifice?
Tonali will go in the summer.
What sort of figures are you thinking for him?
How's it going? It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Marseille striker Tony Cascarino with you this morning. Some of your headlines. Tyson Fury marked his return to the ring with a composed points win over Aslanabek Makhmedov and has called out Anthony Joshua next. Yesterday, Irish trainer Willie Mullins celebrated his third consecutive Grand National victory thanks to I Am Maximus, equalling the feat achieved by the legendary Vincent O'Brien. You got a little cheeky win yesterday with a Rocco.
Well, I came second.
Yeah, but did you put it on each way?
No.
Oh, Cass!
Didn't you get my message when I said, did you win or lose? I said, well, I lost, really.
Did you?
Yeah.
I thought you said...
Win or...
I thought you'd replied, yeah. You're full of chat on a text. Honestly, you can't shut this guy up.
I didn't do it each way. I don't do each way.
Oh, he's on all in. I do each way, and that's why Mama got a little profit. Okay. Coventry City were forced to wait to clinch promotion to the Premier League after being held by relegated Sheffield Wednesday. After the game, Frank Lampard told talkSPORT the team don't want to make the fans wait too long for the confirmation.
I know what this league is, I know what football is. We all watch the Championship every week. We watched Millwall last night, we watched Middlesbrough last week. These games, they're very tough. Some teams have got a lot on it, so they're fighting for their lives. A team that has nothing on it, in a way, with Sheffield Wednesday, credit to them, because they played like there was a lot on it, and that can happen. So I have to talk a lot. It's part of my job, talking to you now. But what really matters now with the position we're in is that we act upon it and the lads just recover well and look towards Blackburn as the next one. And we know what it is. 3 points gets us promotion. Can we get there? Can we perform as we have all season to try and do that at Blackburn? We'll certainly try.
Oh, you're so close, Cov fans. Don't forget, next Friday, live on talkSPORT 2, you could be celebrating promotion to the Premier League away at Blackburn. That's one way to do it, Cass. Right, it's time now for this. And I was like, baby, oh, like baby gaps. Baby gaps. Sorry, your baby gaps because Gabby Agbonlahor is your senior.
I get it.
Okay.
I can't be number one.
We're really creative here with our thing.
By the way, I must say, you're giving very Barbie today. Yeah?
It's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's not much. I don't mind it, but with the
That's
pink.
sexist.
Wow. Trying to get me done already.
I'm kidding.
What's happening
I'm
here?
kidding, baby Gabs. It's too much. It's too much pink. You're right.
I like it though.
You're
it's
right.
Okay.
Bring the sunglasses.
The sunglasses needed.
I'm wearing a blue hoodie. Do you think I can?
And I've gone all white shirt.
Yeah.
We balanced all out.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Do you think I could pull off a pink hoodie maybe?
Yeah, like
Right,
if you come in here, even yourself, Cass, like peacocking. I think Cass peacocks with his glasses because he's always got like a proper bin on. He's got his blue frame, or he brings his brown frame, or is that you've got a green frame?
I've got a blue, a turquoise, and a brown.
This is it. So that's his way of peacocking. Whereas you need to come in next time with something to Peacock.
So this ain't peacocking enough. This is outside my
No,
comfort
this
zone
is
a little
low
bit,
key.
you know?
This is very low key.
I wear black all the time, that's why. So blue is outside my comfort zone.
Fine,
Say that,
okay. You've
you know?
gone to town today for us.
I try.
Well, what's in the papers, please, Gabs?
As you can imagine, there's a lot of Arsenal in there, you know. Not a great result for them yesterday versus Bournemouth, 2-1 loss. Oliver Holt, double spread in the Daily Mail. Shot to pieces with nerves, trepidation and exhaustion. Arsenal's lost boys look paralysed with fear, and that can obviously mean a load of things. It could be in regards to how tired, how passive, how scared they look in moments on the pitch. And this was really brought to life by Jason Cundy yesterday on the Game Day phone, and he was on with Jamie O'Hara, and they like to poke fun at Arsenal when they have their moments.
That's one way of putting it.
Absolutely. And in this piece that we're about to play to you now, Jason Cundy actually had a message to the fans because he says they're not playing their part.
Let me tell you now, the Gooners at the stadium, there is something going on in the stand that the players will feed off. There was an atmosphere that you could sense the nerves. I think the fans are part of the problem right now because they are feeding their own anxiety and their own fears onto the pitch.
You're blaming the fans?
They're part of the problem.
Don't blame the fans.
They're part of the problem. They are they are going there scared. I can't say that word. Scared, stiffless.
Stiffless. By the way, just to really paint the picture, he's got big water bottles from the water dispensing machine with pictures of Arteta and Arsenal as representing Arsenal tears, and he is wearing his Arteta gimp mask. So that really paints the full picture. Is he right though? Do you think the fans do have a part to play? Because we saw some of them leaving early, or is it just the team aren't giving them those nerves and they don't want to see it again? They've been here before.
Well, yeah, you've got to win the fans over, and they've got to, why do you have the expression of the 12th man? They can be the 12th man. They can drive you, lift you. Sometimes the players need to lift the fans. And I thought that was the clear case yesterday. I would say more on the players to lift the fans, and then they'll respond. Fans always respond. If they see tackles in, they see, balls going to certain areas and crosses coming in and people being on the end trying to fight, they'll accept. This time of year, it's all about that drive to get over the line. And the moment, of course the fans are affected. You know why? Because they're really worried about what they're seeing.
Yeah.
They're concerned. They can see it all falling apart in front of them.
But wouldn't you say, even then still, you still have a responsibility, especially as a match-going fan, to keep the spirits and the energy as high as possible? As we spoke about Mikel Arteta and how, in tune he is and making sure everybody's on the same page, singing from the same hymn sheet. And the fans still, even though it's not, going particularly their way, they still have a responsibility to make sure the players' spirits are, as high as possible.
Gab, I remember playing in front of fans and thinking, we don't have to, we lift them and they'll respond all the time. And if they're not seeing what they don't like, they'll also act on that. That yesterday, it was a clear example of, for me, the players, the manager, and everybody sends out that team. All the talk was before the game. Bring your dinner, all this sort of stuff. Okay. There was no dinner brought. There was no knife and fork brought either, or even salt and pepper.
Arteta needs to have that chat with his team. None of them brought their dinner. Maybe Declan Rice, funnily enough, ironically, he brought his dinner. Yeah. Rice brought dinner. But nobody else brought their dinner. And he's telling the fans to bring it.
You need to lift the fans. And I'm telling you, if you do, they will respond. And it's by the performance. I think they were shell-shocked yesterday. They couldn't believe that a team that had come back from what happened in the League Cup and then the FA Cup, then they get a result in Sporting Lisbon. They then turn up and they just immediately, there was a negative vibe. And so that's set by the team first and foremost.
But why are you walking out when they're top of the league? I mean, come on.
Well, that's a few individuals.
You're on your knees. And
look, Liverpool fans, loads of them left at the Etihad when City were 4-0 up, and I get it. You get that. You've seen enough.
Get out of there. But you could be 12 points clear yesterday, and you've seen enough. You want to. They want to win at the canter. They don't want They don't want to fight anymore. They just want to win. And the thing is, we know what Pep does. He's hunting them down. And as somebody pointed out rightfully early on, Pep's saying nothing. He's not saying anything.
Silence speaks volumes.
It really does. Whereas Arteta is giving it, all that kind of gimmicky stuff, and I think it's rubbing off on the fans. To be fair, I really do.
You can't go, Gab. You can't go and lose 3 of the last 4 games when you're literally on the home straight. All what you've done so far this season is just blown up in your face. And so you've got to find a solution. And they haven't got, if they start their next game and they start slow and the pace of the game is wrong. Arsenal's pace of the game, it wasn't an urgency. When I've been to Anfield and other clubs, you go to clubs and you see the urgency in the performance from the kickoff. The fans are on board immediately. That wasn't the case yesterday.
Do they struggle, do you think, Cass, to get up for those games? I mean, we know Bournemouth, Arsenal, the players, because we've seen them play well against good teams, right? Against good teams. No disrespect to Bournemouth, they were definitely the better team and they've had a good season. But even like against Wolves, are they going, right, this is tough to get up for this because we're playing in the Champions League. We were on for 4 trophies just a couple of weeks ago. Like, are they losing that fight for those games and then underestimating the opponent maybe?
Well, do you think Fergie's teams, you cross the white line over the kickoff, what did they do for you? We all were told, all of my time of playing against Manchester United, it's a tin-hat job. They're going to be after you from the very first minute. And do you know what? They didn't disappoint you. Mm-hmm. They came after you. Mm. I've seen Jurgen Klopp's team. Jurgen Klopp's team were never accused of being slow, ponderous, one-paced. They never, because of the way they played. Yeah. I see Jose's teams, Wenger's teams and others. You set the agenda on the match. Yeah. And Arsenal yesterday, it was from the outset, it was literally a slow pace, pass and move. Like I said, too many passing from the back areas of the pitch instead of the forward areas.
Yeah. Baby Gabs, also known as Gabriel Anderson, thank you so much.
Thanks, Shebs. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Arsenal fans, let's be having you. Where are you this morning? 03717223344. Have you got the character to get the job done? Or is it nervy, squeaky bum time? 81089 if you want to send a text. This is the Weekend Breakfast on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter, working with you. On the way, we'll chat about Arsenal a little bit more after dropping more points and, of course, build up to the last day of the Masters. Can Rory do it again, back to back? Dropped a 6-shot lead yesterday. Absolute scenes. And we'll build up to what's coming up in the Premier League today. Good morning.
Robertson at Liverpool, Ellen the show, but here's a reminder what Robertson achieved in his career. He'll leave Anfield after 9 years. 9 years, brilliant. Over 375 appearances and having won every trophy available. What about that for a career, Ray? Did you win every one?
What's that, Al? Weren't listening.
Rob won 375 appearances.
Did he?
For Liverpool, and he's won every trophy available.
I didn't win the Champions League. That's the only one we was missing for us. We won the League Cup. I won the League Cup, FA Cup, Premier League, Cup Winners' Cup. I think it was UEFA Cup. Cup Winners' Cup was.
And he came with Maguire, didn't he, from Hull?
Who's another great player who's playing tonight? Who come from Hull? You get that? He's playing tonight. There's a clue for you. Another great signing.
Of course,
Bowen. He come from Hull City.
Of course, he did.
All the fantastic players who play for Hull. Who did I play for? Hull City.
I love that. I love the. Do you know the way he strikes the ball? He's hardly any backlift, but he is. He's deadly.
I can see Robertson going Celtic, though. Can you?
Yes. Yes, I think so.
Obviously, Tierney's still there as well, isn't he?
Tierney's had a great career. But I think the injuries caught up on him a little bit.
Yeah,
great. But he still gives his 100%. And Andy Robbo, he's an East Kilbride boy, Celtic man. So
Aguero, Solskjaer, Deeney, Watkins,
Sure, you know all about those last-minute goals, but have you heard the one about the on-loan goalkeeper who saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion? Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure, convinced they'd done enough to stay up. However, there'd be one more plot twist. Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds, and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed. As for Jimmy Glass, he became an overnight celebrity, but he never played for Carlisle again, and his playing career never really kicked on after that defining moment. He took on various jobs outside of football before finding his way back into the sport as player liaison officer at Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, and most recently the general manager at non-league Wimborne. Not the fairy tale ending to one of the most Hollywood moments in football, but the name Jimmy Glass will live on forever as the scorer of that goal, arguably the most important in any club's history.
It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Chelsea and Villa and Celtic striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
Dear, oh dear, Arsenal. Could it be happening again? Surely not. Well, Alex Scott got the winner for Bournemouth, with Arsenal dropping 3 massive points at the Emirates.
Ball running through to Scott, who's running through the centre. He's charging through the middle and he slammed it home. And Arsenal are behind again. Alex Scott scores for Bournemouth.
In other news, Liverpool's whiz-kid shines once again. Rio Nguemu's worldie led Liverpool to a 2-0 win against Fulham.
And it's an absolute screamer from the wonder kid Nguemu. Liverpool 1, Fulham 0. It's very much against the run of play of the last 10 minutes.
And it was a routine win for the Gypsy King at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Post-fight, Fury mentioned who he wants next.
Let's give the fight fans what they want. The Battle of Britain. And here's my challenge. I challenge you, Andy Joshua, to fight me, the Gypsy King, next.
Who's it he's looking for? He wasn't clear there. Yeah, AJ. Join us this morning on the Weekend Sports Breakfast. We're looking ahead to a massive day at the Masters and of course in the Premier League. But Arsenal fans, we want to hear from you. 03717 22 3344. Anyone there want to defend that performance yesterday? 81089. If you want to send us a text message, it's the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Good morning.
By the way, are we going to talk at some stage this morning about Thiago 1 goal behind Erling Haaland in the top goal scorers in the Premier League?
Is he really?
1 goal behind. Brentford's Thiago.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
What a season's he's had, by the way.
Do you think he starts at the World Cup? I mean, he's got to be one of them, surely. Or
He has been phenomenal, considering he had a year with injury, and then he's come back and is now the highest goal scorer in the Premier League for Brentford. You know, they're the most goals in one season. He's done brilliantly well, leads the line fantastically, strong as an ox, not the quickest, but just sets up play all the time, and has got a great range of goals. And I'm hoping that we'll talk a little bit more in depth about Thiago.
when would you like to do that?
Not now, no.
Yeah.
Because we've got other agenda, haven't we?
Yeah, the Arsenal agenda, the anti-Arsenal agenda, as some of you seen in the text messages here.
It'd be good for Arsenal.
Yeah, it really would be.
The way he plays.
Absolutely. Good
for
point,
anybody.
actually. I mean, that's the thing. Somebody's saying here, I really like your points of view, but you're joining the Arsenal haters club right now. It's just not what that is, guys. And I think if you think if people are hating on you, that's on you. That's your problem.
No, it's not. It's not that. I think you'd have... If you're doing punditry and you're speaking about what you see with your eyes, and then you have to talk about the depth of the problem, because Arsenal are literally letting everything slip through their fingers. It's literally happening in front of the fans, and the fans are getting upset, and you can feel it. Why wouldn't they? They love their football club. All fans love their clubs. You know, it's not just Arsenal. It's about fans in general. You know, that's what they do.
The thing is, as well, you're 9 points clear. You know, you've still got 9 points over City after yesterday's loss, and yes, they still have that game in hand, and they've to play today against Chelsea. But
okay, so
don't hate on the people who think that Arsenal weren't good enough yesterday. They were simply not good enough.
How many people now would fancy Arsenal going to the Etihad and getting a result?
Well, this is the thing.
I tell you, a lot of people think now, absolutely, and they've got to prove people wrong that they can do that.
Yeah. Johnny, the Arsenal season ticket holder, North Bank Lower, he said the Boo Boys yesterday need to have some perspective after that result. We still have it in our hands, regardless of Sunday away at City. We have to stay focused on what is possible. I'd rather hear more Arsenal fans say that, whereas instead they kind of go quiet, they go under the radar, and then I don't think, we mentioned this earlier, Mikel Arteta's, PR push, bring your dinner, bring your boots, bring your lunch, helps them. Okay. Because I think it puts pressure on his players when they cross the white line, and I don't know if they've got the character to get it done. And history shows us that they don't have the character to get it done.
What about if we said the fans that are really feeling that it's going wrong and they're venting their anger and they're upset? Okay, what if they're right? What if they're right? And they're proved right by Arsenal literally fall away, they've blown up everything. What if they're right? And I think that's why they're getting angry, because they can see their team gradually losing grip of the title.
Yeah, it is fascinating. And even yesterday, listening to Game Day Live, all of the opinions of everybody working for talkSPORT is like, oh dear, is this happening again? It's now them. It's down to the players now, and it's down to Arteta to prove everybody wrong. It's not down to the fan base.
No, it's not.
I'd rather you stay.
They play a part. I said to you off air a point. You go and watch the golf, and you watch a golfer and he gets in and it's an unbelievable shot. Watch the fans' reaction.
Yeah.
That's the same as hitting the crossbar or sticking one in the top corner. If Arsenal players start to do a bit of that and make the game where they know their team is absolutely going for it to get over the line, the fans will react.
Yeah. Keen to get the thoughts of broadcaster and host of the Highbury squad, Sophie Nicolau, is with us now this morning. Sophie, good morning. Thanks for coming on. Where do you stand with it all?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Wow, I'm just sitting here listening to both of you talk and listening to the clips and the clip of the goal, and I can't believe we're here, if I'm being honest.
No.
And one of the things, there's something that for me I noticed in the press conference, I think it was before Sporting Lisbon, that David Raya did with just before Mikel Arteta's. And someone in the media asked him about if he'd spoken to Kepa, if the players had kind of spoken to each other. And the response was, no, I haven't really spoken to him, but we're good friends. I would rather our players did act like some of our fans, like they wanted to eat people's faces off because they want to defend this club to the hilt, because our fans have been put in a position again by the players and the manager to be in the front lines and in the trenches defending this football club and this team. And I think our fans actually deserve better. Every single fan base has a few nut jobs among them.
Yeah.
Let's all agree on that. Not every Arsenal fan is crazy or unreasonable.
Agree.
Or arrogant. Arsenal fans just want to win the league. We just want to win the title. And someone on the show said it, James on our show said it yesterday. Soph, have you ever seen a team or known a team that is leading still by 9 points? Okay, albeit the nearest competitor now has two games, to hand. That have this fear still, that have this angst, this anxiety. And growing up, I always felt like if I was in a room, the anxiety or any of that would come from the top. It would come from an adult that's breeding that type of energy, into the environment. And it has to trickle from the top. And every team is an image of their manager. But the players too have not performed. And I'm so curious to know from Tony, because there's a continual argument about, is it the players? Is it the manager? Is it the tactics? Yesterday, you can't argue that Mikel didn't go for it. He made substitutions, and other than Gyökeres, changed that whole kind of creative attacking line. But nothing changed because everything is very much like for like. And you watch other games and you see certain managers adopt maybe different tactics, a tweak. If you're on the left, you go on the right. Everything we do is very robotic and like for like. And so Arsenal fans can see certain things coming because they've seen it before. It's not because they're being bad fans. It's because they're anticipating something that they've already experienced and they've already seen. And there's only two people, two sets that can fix this. That is Mikel and the players. Stop talking. Stop with the hype videos. Stop with the sizzle reels. Stop with the marketing campaigns. We're a football club. We're not a marketing group.
Well said.
And for us, we can't afford to do those things because we haven't won it in such a long time. City could do it. Liverpool could do it. But if you want to use tactics and you want to use training methods, fine, go ahead. You don't have to video it and broadcast it around the world. Just be quiet. Go in a hole, lock in, be quiet. Stop giving interviews. No more Declan Rice interviews. No more access to the team. Just focus on the football. The football. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Well said. Sophie, thank you very much for coming on this morning. I think we completely agree with you anyway. Arsenal fans, you can have your say. 81089 03717 223344. From the Highbury squad, Sophie Nicolau, thank you so much for your time. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Sophie.
You just wonder now, Cass, I mean, is he taking them as far as they can go?
No, because they could go still a long way. The message has to be from the club. And, Sophie was going to ask me a question there about, what do I think? What I think at the moment is what I said earlier when I was talking about what's driving me crazy about Arsenal is they're willing to take risks in their own half but not in the opposition. Flip that. You go all the risks in the other half and that will lift the crowd. That will lift performances. The direction is to go after them. And the very best teams, Liverpool didn't run the title for 30 years. What did Jurgen Klopp do? What did he do? He adopted a style that the fans would be totally convinced that they're going all the time. They're after. It's energy. And that energy spills off into the terraces that lift fans, get them off their seats, shouting. And fans are not all, crazy nutters. They love their club so much. And this is from every club in every level. The fans are the heartbeat of a football club. But you as a player and as a manager have to lift them. Not they lift you. They'll do it when's needed. They will.
So we look ahead to Wednesday, live on talkSPORT, the second leg of the quarter-final, Arsenal against Sporting Lisbon. Arsenal fans, where do you stand with this? Have you got the character to really get the job done now? And how disappointed are you after yesterday? 03717 223344. The phone lines are open. You can have your say now. 81089 if you want to send a text message. Coming up for you, we're going to look back at yesterday's Grand National and chat all things at the Masters. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Search VW Transporter to find out more.
Ethan and Werry, and Miles Lewis Skelly this summer, and we're talking about maybe 100 million for the pair. That's too much, surely.
Well, no, I mean they're great prospects, aren't they?
100 mil for
Skelly's probably just he's not had a great time lately. He's just fell away from that first team a little bit. He's got a lot of people in front of him at the moment. And Capia, who's come in, he's done a really good job on that left hand side. You've got Calafiori as well. So I feel for him a little bit because you're a young player. You went through that little bit of stage where your form ain't great. A lot has happened in his career very quickly, Al. I mean, scoring a goal for England, playing for your country at a young age. So it might have just caught up with him a little bit, but he's just got to keep working hard and see where it takes him. Wanyeri's on loan at the moment, but he's a top player as well. A really, really
and you're really
great
happy
talent.
with young Max, aren't you?
Oh, Max he's doing different class. 16. People forget he's only 16. It's amazing. He changed the game. He changed the game when he come on against Everton. He looked like
and was getting back and helping out.
Yeah.
Good morning, Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne alongside former Millwall striker Tony Cascarino. It's competition time now. This is a big one for you. We've got 2 tickets for the Wimbledon Lawn Tennis Championships, Monday the 6th of July. Dog work that day, and head to Wimbledon for an absolute belter of a day. You'll be watching the world's best form from official Wimbledon seats on centre court. You'll also have lounge access as well. The perfect way to soak up Wimbledon atmosphere. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can call this number 0343 418 7260. The lines close 16th of April for this competition, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then if you get a call, you'll have to answer for your chance to win. It's 18 plus, UK residents only. A network promotion with all of the terms and conditions on our website as ever at talksport.com. You could be going to Wimbledon Monday the 6th of July. Do you fancy that? Text the word WIN to 83338 now, and good luck to you. Yesterday was absolutely non-stop. Arsenal lose, then you're looking at the fallout of that, and then you've got the Grand National 4 o'clock.
Just add one little thing.
Go on.
When Arsenal won the title in '89, when Michael Thomas got the winner, they went to Anfield and won 2-0. An incredible game, okay, with a game plan. They hadn't won the title for 18 years before that game, right? So there's enormous pressure there. And they went and done it. They delivered. So my point is that you have to go and win it.
So next Sunday,
you have to play like you're going to go.
Next Sunday, then away to the Etihad. If they go there and win, is that the job's done?
Well, it would be, yeah, because it would just leave City too much to do. Now, does it look likely at the moment? No, not at all. It feels like the whole situation is against them. But can you go to the Etihad and win? Of course, any team on any given day can do it if they're good enough. And this Arsenal team have to show they've got the kahunas to go out and get a big result.
Do you think they have, Cass? Or has City got more?
Well, at the moment they haven't. I thought they have all season. I thought they would be champions at the start of the season.
Yeah.
That they had the squad for it. But they waited 89. My point was at 89 they'd waited all them years, 18 years to get to that point. So the pressure was there all them years ago as well.
We're taking calls on this very soon. 03717 223344. Arsenal fans, we want to hear from you. Have you got the bottle to get it done, or is it nervy time once again? Let's chat about the Grand National getting it done. I Am Maximus once again yesterday afternoon made history when becoming the first horse to regain the National since the famous Red Rum in the 1970s. That moment was live here on talkSPORT.
Another one picking up is I Am Maximus, starting to sprout wings just as he did 2 years ago. Marking time now is Ben Jones on Jones. I Am Maximus trying to get past him, and Paul Townend is sweeping past him on I Am Maximus just as he did 2 years ago. You've barely seen this horse. He's timed it to perfection and has come through. Iroko's running on, but my goodness me, that is Paul Townend at his coolest, best to ensure victory.
Absolutely sensational stuff. The Grand National live on talkSPORT yesterday with the best in the business, Rupert Bell and Lizzie Kelly. Pleased to say our racing correspondent Rupert Bell is with us now. Good morning, Rupert. What a day.
What a day. Not much sleep. It was a bit. I had to get home, and then what did I have to do? When someone said, would you like to come on at 7:15? Well, I had a moment's lapse and realised, oh God, I'm going to get home and I need to watch the Masters. So I'm sorry if I sound a bit bleary-eyed, but I think you may have some sympathy. But
aren't we all?
It was a great occasion. Look, so many people of my generation, Red Rum was the defining horse for so many and why they got into the sport of horse racing. And he regained it in dramatic fashion in 1977, now having won back-to-back, admittedly, in 73 and 74. He then run in the next two, and then he came and won. But yesterday, you put it into context, what I Am Maximus did is a rare feat in this race. And also the fact that he carried top weight was another testament to the genius of Paul Townend, the way he rode the race, and then to come through and win again. So it was a fantastic performance. There's talk of someone had a bet of £100,000. JP McManus, who's quite known as a punter, said I had a small bet. I don't know whether it was him to win 800,000 because the horse went over off at 9-2. So a great performance from I Am Maximus. There was shades, I think, if we're talking analogy between Jordan's and Rory McIlroy, because Jordan's, ridden by Ben Jones, looked at the race by the scruff of the neck as they crossed Melling Road, but he blew up something, unfortunately, what Rory McIlroy did yesterday to blow that 6-shot lead. But it's, he might be able to rally again, Rory McIlroy. Unfortunately for Jordan's and Ben Jones, they couldn't, and ultimately they finished in third spot behind I Am Maximus.
Well, Rupert, I was going to say to you, because we could use this as Rory as well, about, Paul Townsend never got in trouble, did he, in the race, where, horses around him fell and, getting over the fences quite comfortably, And that was, for me, the standout feature, that not getting his horse in trouble.
Well, that's what he was so clever at. He just hunted him round in a really old-fashioned way. Yes, I mean, Patrick Mullins, who was riding Grange Clare West, well, his national won it last year as the winning jockey. Well, his national finished at the first fence. The well-backed Panic Attack went at the third fence. There were other prominent horses in the betting who fell as well, particularly on the first circuit and elsewhere. So it was a very clever ride. He just hunted him around the shortest way round, and then you could see him even, as they crossed the Melling Road. He was still a long way back, but he just found the momentum as they approached the last. You thought, hey, he's in the race now. And then Jordan's had a couple of loose horses in front of him, which didn't necessarily help his cause, but in the end, it was just a perfectly judged ride, and a masterclass in how to ride the modern national when you've got top weight, conserve your energy, and then just found that moment when you kicked on to go and win in the end quite readily.
And also, Rupert, I want to give a mention, because I did back it, Iroko, because obviously he come second, and terrific race.
Yeah, really ran on for John Joe O'Neill, but just a little too late, sadly, for him. But there was Johnny Who ran on as well, trained by John Joe O'Neill. and was running on. So actually, JP McManus owned 3 of the first 4. So not only did he have a winning punt, he also picked up a sizable chunk of the £1 million prize money. So a good day all round for the JP McManus team.
And looking ahead then to tonight, final night at the Masters then, how do you see this one going?
Rory's got to sort his... I mean, in many ways, do you feel he was lucky to have that 6-shot lead when he was rated 90th of the 91st off the tee, yet somehow he managed to get to 12 under par with some outrageous play on the back nine, particularly on Friday evening. So he's got to find that spark again. But remember, he wobbled on his way to victory last year. Maybe that was just the 3rd round wobble. Will Cameron Young be able to match a 65? Scotty Scheffler's got to do something similar from off the pace. Justin Rose is in there. So he's not out of it. I suppose he still might be favourite, but it definitely was hard work for Rory McIlroy yesterday. Look, we'd love to see him kick on and win back-to-back Masters, because that is an elite group, just like Ian Maximus has joined an elite group. Rory McIlroy to be a back-to-back winner in the Masters. Faldo did it, but of course Tiger Woods has done it. You know, that's an elite group of players, so it would mean a lot to Rory McIlroy. So all to play for, but I think it's going to be tough, and I just fear he might come up short.
Oh, dear. Okay, well,
Terrific.
Go and have a nap. And
thank you.
Sleep it off, okay?
And just, Shebahn, just a quick message. Ollie's delighted you're now following him on Instagram.
Oh, good. Tell him I'm asking for him, and then I'll slide into the DMs casually.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on, Daddy-in-law. Rupert Bell, take care of yourself. It's always nice to make Rupert feel a bit awkward, isn't it?
Yeah.
You hear that me and Ollie ran off together at Cheltenham.
Oh, is that
His son.
Is this another rumour?
Yeah, Jamie ran off with a waitress and I ran off with Rupert Bell's son. That's the chat. This is the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we'll get our weekly top 5 with Volkswagen Transporter.
Pep Guardiola has been speaking today about his team's tendency to finish season strongly.
Hopefully we can do a lot of points. It's at the situation that we are in the Premier League, so we need to do all of them. Otherwise we will not give us a chance to try it until the end. So we need to do a lot of points. We were not consistent enough during the season. We dropped points that we should take it, and that's why we're in the position that now we cannot do it differently.
He also talked a little bit about on whether he feels more excited at this time of the year. No, he says, I have a lot of yellow cards. That means how excited I am. Not just for April, but during the season, I have had a good energy, and I still have good energy. You get the feeling that he thinks that there's still a chance that they can catch them.
I think they're probably going to have to win every game to do it. We were just working it out there on Gabby's crib sheet. They've got 8 games left. They're on 61 points. So if they win every game, they get to 85. That would mean that Arsenal on 70 need 5 wins from their last 7 games. If they
Right.
Great song.
What's this? Is this an Arsenal theme?
I think so. I think that's what we're getting at. They are under a little bit of pee to get the job done.
Hey, Tottenham have got it today.
Oh, God, we haven't even touched on Spurs yet.
No.
That'll make Arsenal fans a little bit happier today.
Well, they're under pressure. They've got to get a result. West Ham got the big one on Friday night. Spurs today have got to get some sort of result at Sunderland.
Sure. That game's at 2 o'clock this afternoon. All the updates coming for you on Game Day Live with Sam Matterface. He's here at 1:30. And then, of course, Chelsea Man City 4:30 this afternoon to look forward to. A little bit of under pressure. Arsenal fans, we're taking your calls now. 03717223344. We'll come to you in just a moment. We want to know if you've got the character. Can you get the job done now? And how disappointed are you after yesterday's performance? Full credit to Bournemouth, a 2-1 win at the Emirates. Now it's time for our top 5 with Volkswagen Transporter.
The talkSPORT Top 5 with the Volkswagen Transporter on a mission to change the game. Search VW Transporter.
Is this one on me or are you going to join
on
in?
you, because we've already been having it out. In the break, this is where we choose our top 5, usually sport and stars, because there's so many brilliant events on at the moment and competitions. We're going to go for the top 5 sport and events to look forward to every year. Right. So we always start at number 5 and work our way to number 1. What's in there at number 5 for you, Cass?
I've gone for the snooker Crucible final. I love me snooker. Always have done.
Right, don't invite me.
And I always watch the final. I watch a lot of snooker anyway. It's another sport my missus has a go at me for watching too much of. But I really enjoy it. Always have done.
Can you play a bit of snooker?
No, I'm not any good at it, but I just love watching it.
Yeah.
I think it's a highly skilled sport, although, you know, some of them are not as sporty as they should be. But I've loved the people like Jimmy White, Hendry, Davis, all of them. Ken Doherty, got to know Ken. He obviously won the world title, and others. There's loads of them. I love watching the snooker. So Crucible World Final. Next would be the 100 metres final in the Olympics.
I'll give you that.
I love watching that as well. It's another one.
Yeah.
You know, watching Cole Lewis, you know, as a young boy, watching him run. Then obviously Usain Bolt came along, Linford Christie, Alan Wells, even if you're a bit older. Great runner. Scottish runner, Alan Wells.
There you go.
Yeah. Then a boxing world title fight. And I've been to a few. I've seen Ricky Hatton in a world title fight, Conor Benn. So I really enjoy it. I mean, I haven't been to Madison Square Garden, but that would have been like a dream, seeing a huge fight. I've been to Vegas fights, world title fights. Loved it. Great nights.
Do you think you would enjoy it as much in Riyadh?
Probably not. No, it's a slightly different atmosphere, but I haven't been to Riyadh to see a fight. So anyway. Then second is the Masters.
Yeah.
It's close to number 1 because the Masters is my favourite event. I just think there's so much jeopardy in the Masters always, and it very rarely has a runaway winner. I mean, Tiger did it with about 12 shots, but generally it's a really tight affair. Lots goes wrong on the final back nine. Love it, absolutely love it. I'm going to love it tonight. And the final is the World Cup final.
Okay,
the final one, World Cup final. Well, obviously, being my sport, football, just watching World Cup finals, being there, played in them, incredible.
I just want to throw in there Super Bowl. We wouldn't have the Super Bowl.
No, I'm not a Super Bowl man. I know. I don't particularly like any
Not
of the
for
American
like the spectacle.
sports. I don't like basketball that much. I respect it. Baseball, not my cup of tea. Ice hockey, not my cup of tea.
Super Bowl in over the Crucible.
No. Oh, no chance. No. I could watch 4 hours of snooker and 4 hours of Super Bowl. I wouldn't last 15 minutes.
What about the darts at Ali Pali Christmas time?
Well,
That's a good one.
again, yes, but not in my top 5.
I'd put that well in at 5 above the snooker. No offence, snooker. You're doing well and all.
You're talking of entertainment and having a drink. And yeah, well, I'm talking about watching sport.
You sound good fun. No, fair enough. That was our top 5, all thanks to Volkswagen Transporter.
The talkSPORT Top 5 with the Volkswagen Transporter on a mission to change the game. Search VW Transporter.
Right, the texts are absolutely going off today, 8:10, 8:09. Arsenal fans all having their say. Sean saying the flip side to the Arsenal shambles is the fact that City have been in transition and off the pace and fragile all season and are yet now looking like they could take it home a domestic treble. A relief to see no horses died at the Grand National at the weekend. Sorry, just yesterday, Shebahn. I am Maximus still has another to win to match Rummy. That's from Wolfie Pete this morning. Great show, guys. This is from Phil and Poppy. The manager and the players need to show us, the supporters, that they are playing for the badge. We pay good money to watch mediocre football, and it needs to stop before everything starts to collapse. And you've mentioned it a number of times this morning, Cass, that what Arsenal have done this season now may well be starting to blow up in front of them.
Yeah. Well, it is happening. They've got to stop it. They've got to reverse it, and it's got to happen now. Look, City go to Chelsea today. I'm going to the game. It's not a given that Man City roll over Chelsea, but Pep's made it quite clear they've got to go there to win. So their intentions are to go to Stamford Bridge and try and beat Chelsea.
03717 2233 is the number. Steve, the Arsenal fan, is with us now. Steve, good morning. I mean, where do you stand with that? Are you starting to get nervous?
Good morning. Well, good morning, Shebahn. Good morning, Cass. I love the show.
Thank you.
Look, I was there yesterday, and I've got to be honest, right? I'm a total winner. You look at the team. I mean, there was no desire, there was no hunger. They're playing absolutely ridiculous football. It's boring, and you got the guy telling you, bring your lunch, bring your dinner. I mean, he's not Kevin Keegan, right? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's gone.
I was going to say, Steve, it's a strange one because you'd think in the final run-in that this would be literally tin-hat job. Anyone who goes to Arsenal is going to get literally rolled over. And it was the complete opposite yesterday.
It was a joke. Listen, if a team before they go out don't know how they've got to play, don't know how hungry they've got to be. Their football was boring. There's no one that can take the ball by the horns. There's no one. I was listening to Jens Lehmann saying that no one in that team could get into their early team. The football's slower than it was like 20 years ago. I mean, you watch it. There is no passion, no desire. There's no skill. Everybody's worried. I mean, even Raya yesterday was outrageous. I mean, and they want the crowd to like go mad and be excited. Right, you know, they're not showing anything half-time because they want you all out there. Well, if you want to win, then let your team show all the fans that they want to win, and there was nothing there yesterday. Yeah. And Bournemouth done fantastic. You know, you got to give credit to Bournemouth. They made us look useless. And I've got to tell you, right, when you've got Jesus in a side that Pep got rid of 5 years ago, what does that tell you?
Steve, are you going to beat City next week at the Etihad and get the job done there?
Listen, look, as an Arsenal supporter, I hope so, but I've got to be realistic. I just think that City, right, are on a serious roll. As much as I love it, and I've been going to Arsenal for 60 years, there is no confidence in what I'm seeing, to be truthful. And I think we're going to get a good hiding. Now, people might not like that, and my friends might not like that, but I can't see us going there and doing a job. I can't see what's going to change from now till next Saturday.
Yeah. You're not the only one, Steve. Yeah. A lot of people think that. And not even Arsenal supporters are going, do you know what? They're letting it slip through their fingers, and you know, it felt like everyone was afraid yesterday.
Steve, thank you very much for your call. Good luck to you. She, the Arsenal fan, is with us now. Good morning to you. Are you starting to
Morning,
bottle it?
Shebahn. Good morning, Tony. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Good, thanks. I mean, how do you feel about Wednesday against Sporting?
Honestly, I'm not concerned about Wednesday, to be honest with you. Like, even yesterday, it's quite clear that it's weird for me to be disappointed or upset because we've been through this multiple times. Because, like, I just think to myself, you know, early in the season, we had fans calling in saying, oh, the media has an agenda against Arsenal. You know, there's just a narrative against Arsenal, the rivals. And I'm thinking to myself, when will these fans understand that you can't demand respect? You can't demand people to take you seriously until you get the job done. And yesterday was the purest example of that. When the going gets tough, there's something about these players and this manager that just seems to crumble. And therefore, they can't. The amount of energy that people put in to dictating how people can talk about Arsenal, not just the media, but also the supporters within the fan base. You'll hear people say, oh, you can't say that, you're so negative. You know, if you held the players and the manager to the same level of accountability, we would be in a much better place. But instead, they're more focused on what people are saying about Arsenal than actually making sure that this team deliver on what they're supposed to deliver.
Yeah, I was making that point earlier, where I said, what the people who are, you know, openly being critical of how it's panning out, maybe if they're right, what if they're right? You know, if they're proven
Clearly,
right.
they are.
At the moment, they are, yeah.
Things are going now.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, we can go until the sun goes down about how, oh, Arteta has done X, Y, and Z, but it doesn't mean anything until he gets it over the line. Yeah. And somehow you have an agenda and you're not a real supporter if you think otherwise. Like, I can't help the fact that I only believe things when they happen. That's just me. I don't believe anything until I see it with my own eyes. And so until I see the Premier League title in Arteta's hands, how can I possibly say, oh, we're definitely going to win the league? It makes no sense.
All right, Shee, thank you so much for your call this morning. We appreciate it. Clive, the Arsenal fan, is with us now. Clive, good morning. Are you getting the job done this season, or are you going to be the bridesmaid again?
Good morning. What's good about it, eh? I know that today.
Clive, sorry, we can't hear you. We'll get you back on in just a moment. Your line went a bit dodgy there. Look, see this media agenda tripe that keeps coming up. It's nonsense. The manager is giving the media gifts every time he opens his mouth and does this rallying cry. He needs to be delivering that to his players. His players need to feel pumped. These fans are paying their money. They're pumped. They're Arsenal fans. They're going to the game. They will be there.
Do you know times when I've been in for promotions? Like, I've had 4 promotions in my career, and I can remember sitting in the dressing room and the manager demanding everybody stay quiet.
Yes.
You know, you can do your interviews, but don't go out there and start saying things that are off the cuff. And, you know, just when you cross that white line, you deliver.
Yeah.
Everybody else will talk for you. You don't need to. You don't need to do all the speaking. If Arsenal play brilliantly well yesterday and they don't say anything, and we come on air and we go, cool, how good were they? And all Arsenal fans will ring in and praise their team. People speak on behalf of you. You don't have to tell people if how well you're doing or your intentions.
Yeah.
You show it, and then you can react, and other people will go, how good were they?
Exactly. And this is why the media focus on Arsenal. Or why?
What did we do to PSG?
They feel that there's an agenda.
What did we do to PSG? We talked about how good they were.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have an agenda against PSG. No. We actually realised by what we witnessed, what they did to Liverpool, you know, only won 2-0, but we realised, and we realised last year as well.
Yeah. And in all fairness, Arsenal are a great team. They've been brilliant this season. Now it's about getting the job done.
They are way better, Shebahn. What you just said there is they are way better than what we're seeing.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
And that's on
we know that. Arsenal fans know that. Yep. And so does everybody else know they're way better than that.
Well said. 8:10:89. Don't forget the quarterfinal. Second leg at the Emirates is live for you on talkSPORT this Wednesday. How will that one go? And then, of course, it's away to the Etihad next Sunday. Will Arsenal win the league there? Or are you feeling a little bit nervous about that? Fans, keep getting in touch. 81089. Coming up next, we're going to chat about the boxing. A win for Tyson Fury back in the ring last night. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter, working with you.
I mean, who's left there now? Only Alisson, Van Dijk. I think that's probably it, isn't it?
Just on Andy Robertson, do you think he'll stay in the Premier League?
I think he can.
Yeah.
I think he can. I think they're a.
I'd have him at Tottenham. I wish we got
They're
him.
well, you were linked with him in January, weren't you?
Yeah.
You know, and that the right was. It's not the biggest surprise in the world, is it? That he's leaving.
No, it's not a surprise.
What
but
happened in January?
It made us, think about left backs, right?
Yeah.
You think about the great left backs of the Premier League, and where does he rank?
So when I was outside with Ryan, the producer, and then Ryan said there was a period where he was the best left back in the world, and I went, "What? What you on about? Best left back in the world?" And he said he's best in the top 3 of the Premier League. And I'm like, I'm not sure he is. And then you look at the names that you think, you know what? Actually, maybe he is in this conversation.
I think he is. Look, Ashley Cole for me, obviously, yes, he's the greatest.
He's out on his own.
He's out on his own. And then after that, you look at the other left backs. They're at Patrice
Well, in
Evra.
terms of number.
You done a 15k last week, didn't you?
15 miles. Don't see people who confuse
Okay.
their miles with their Ks. 15 miles, 17
I was
miles.
talking about money.
But see, long distance, I feel that I can go, but see when there's like a short burst of energy, like running up the stairs, I'm like to run at the toilet.
How long have you got before the big day?
2 weeks on Sunday.
2 weeks on Sunday.
2 weeks today.
So
is
you've
the
got a big.
marathon.
Obviously, you've got to do a big run this week.
Yeah, I've got 19 miles on Wednesday. However, Danny Mills got in touch to say stick to 17 miles.
Right.
Don't push it the extra 2 miles. So I might do the 17, see how I feel on the day. If my body feels all right, just go for 19.
Right.
But everyone's tapering.
Well, no, his boy's a runner, isn't
This is it. I thought, right, take the advice from the experts here. It's Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino. Some of your headlines just quickly. In history-making move here, Union Berlin has appointed Marie-Louise Etta as head coach. From now till the rest of the season, she's 34. That means she'll become the first woman to coach a men's team in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. How about that?
Yeah.
History there. That's
Yes.
crazy.
That's going to be a tough gig.
Yeah.
For her.
Good luck to her. Good luck to her. I hope it goes well for her. I hope she can make a change, and maybe others might start to follow suit in the future.
Well, it's going to happen.
Is it?
Of course it is.
I just don't get
It's
this.
inevitable. It's inevitable. Of course it's going to happen.
Honestly, I think that there is such like a deep-rooted misogyny and sexism sometimes here when it comes to women in football.
Yeah, I agree to that.
That
But
I'm
I
like,
also think-
when will it happen? I want it to happen.
No, but the reason why it'll happen, because as everything evolves, and some of the things we thought would never possible, say 25, 30 years ago,
Happens, yeah.
And I think it'll happen.
How many years?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, we've already seen it's happened now, so I don't have to wait. It's already happened in Union Berlin.
I mean, it
Are
happened.
you talking in Premier League?
Well, Premier League, Championship, League One, will it happen here?
I think within 10, you'll see someone get the opportunity. If they're good enough, who cares what sex they are?
I agree. I mean, Hannah Dingley got the opportunity, didn't she, at Forest Green Rovers?
And it's going to be
a couple of years ago now.
You know, there is going to be some really tough obstacles put in front of them, but I'm sure that someone's going to be successful also.
What was interesting was that day that Hannah was appointed, the conversation became about, would you want a woman working or running your football club? And I was like, you know, that way you think back now, did we actually have that conversation? Like, we made it just about our sex, not about our credibility or the work that she'd done. Made it about sex.
You know, we've had Philip Neville run the women's team, so it's inevitable. It's going to go both ways along the way.
At some point, you would think, but good luck to Marie-Louise Etta, the first head coach there. She's at Union Berlin. Fair play to her. Good luck. Let's focus now on the boxing, because it was a great night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Conor Benn defeated former world champion Regis Prograis in the undercard by unanimous decision. Tyson Fury also back and cruised to victory against Makhmudov. Let's get more on this now with our boxing reporter from The Sun. Wally Downs is with us now. Wally, good morning. Great night.
Yeah, it was a big event. Another stadium show, lots of fireworks and flamethrowers, and I think Tyson and Anthony Joshua finishing it off, almost confirming their fight. Netflix went online, maybe jumped the gun a little bit, and said that it's all done and signed for the autumn. But apparently that isn't the case yet. Anthony Joshua hasn't signed his half of the deal, but Tyson Fury has put his name to paper.
Wally, tell us about last night. What did you make of Tyson?
Listen, I thought he did all right after so long out the ring. He put a load of weight on again, which he's had to melt off again. Makhmudov is 19 stone, 6'5", so he's hard work. I thought he was tired from about 5 rounds, so I thought it stopped being dangerous after 5. Fury probably should have got the stoppage, but I can understand why he probably didn't work too hard to get it. If he knows he's signed for the AJ fight, he has nothing to risk. You know, it's done. So he wouldn't have wanted got cut. He wouldn't have wanted, a shock knockdown. It happened before he had the Usyk fight done, before he boxed Francis Ngannou, who was making his debut, and Francis hit him so hard he fell over, and he scraped a decision win. This one was really close, really clear, not close at all. And yeah, even if the fight wasn't that exciting, there were a fair few thousand fans walking out before it even finished, just to get the last tube home. The stuff with AJ was entertaining to finish.
Yeah, and AJ has reacted, or has he's been closed-lipped on how he sees this potential fight with Tyson?
Yeah, like the ending felt a little bit bungled, because they've clearly paid AJ to attend, and he did sit there, and he was there from really early on, the first real serious fight, Fraser Clark's one, which was about 7:15. So he's there working for helping them sell the show. But when it all came down to it, when Tyson said, "Come on, get in here, get in the ring," essentially, let's sign this in front of the world right now, he just completely refused. In the stadium, we couldn't hear the microphone. I think apparently on Netflix it did come across on the television, so you guys probably got a better version of what was going on. But yeah, it looked a little bit flat, because we see it so many times. These fights, they all get made behind closed doors, behind the scenes, and then at a show, the two guys get called in the ring, the promoters are in there, we agree it, we tell the world. Now, it seems that that's what they wanted to do. Netflix had the social media post ready. Turki Al-Sheikh, the Saudi bankroller of all these fights, he called it in. Tyson called him in, and AJ said no. He just stuck his finger up at him and said that he was sort of chasing attention. So that was a strange ending to it. I think they probably had something a little bit more elaborate and concrete planned. But now that's where we're left. Anthony Joshua is weighing up his side of the deal. Tyson has signed for his half, and Netflix believe they're showing it in the autumn.
Interesting. And quickly tell us about Conor Benn. What's next for him then?
Hopefully a serious fight, not against someone who's got one leg. Regis Prograis was 37 years old. Everybody in boxing knew that he arrived from America carrying a serious injury. He pulled out of it once. Then I think he got paid a bit more money to stay on and fight. You could tell if you watched his footwork from round one, he was carrying an injury. And moments after the fight, having banked a nice handsome purse, he retired and said he had 4 injuries going into the fight. So he did well to pass his medical to get in the ring.
Yeah.
Conor was, very, very average. It's been a long time since we saw that incredible knockout power that he was starching people with. So he needs to have a big fight now.
Is it Garcia world title fight? Is he at that level?
Well, we'll soon find out with Ryan Garcia, because he's an incredibly powerful left-hooking welterweight. But that would be 147 pounds, which is welterweight, which is what Conor used to box at before he jumped up for a few years, especially for the Eubank ones most recently. I thought he looked really... Listen, every fighter around those weights looks tight and drained, but that fight was only at 150. So he's got to melt 3 more pounds off. And that's not sort of us chubsters getting some Christmas calories off. That is just dehydrating your body much harsher the day before. So that will make him put on an even less convincing performance. But also his problem is that he's signed with Zuffa, and this company say that all the belts are rubbish and they don't recognise them. So it's all very well him saying, I want a WEC belt. His new bosses don't care for those belts. So that will be quite a boring boxing bureaucracy hurdle that they've got to come ahead.
Fascinating stuff.
I think Conor will just keep looking for big money fights.
Yeah.
It seems that that's what he's about. He had to borrow a lot of money from Eddie Hearn, and Eddie said he's got to apologise about misleading people about that. So Conor will need big money fights more than belts, I think.
Interesting. Well, we'll wait and see. Listen, thanks so much for coming on this morning, Wally. We appreciate you.
No worries, guys.
Cheers,
Thank you.
Wally.
Take care. Boxing reporter there from The Sun, Wally Downs. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up for you next, we're going to look into Spurs and Roberto De Zerbi as they attempt to avoid relegation from the Premier League. This first game today against Sunderland, 2 o'clock. All the updates here on Game Day Live on talkSPORT.
Morgan Rogers does seem to be doing it week in, week out, largely. 24 goals and 23 assists to his name since the start of last season. And he is expected to be at the centre of a £80 million transfer tug-of-war this summer. Why has this chatter started now? And
Just 80?
I
think they want a bit more than that. I was doing some inquiries this morning to see if he's got a release clause in his contract. Doesn't sound like he does. And I think Aston Villa are within their rights to ask for Jack Grealish type money for Morgan Rogers. And I think somebody will pay it. I think he is capable of going on to one of the top clubs in the country. But as Gabs has said, ideally Villa will want to keep him, but we know they're under financial pressure. More to do, I think, with the UEFA financial regulations than the Premier League ones, but it may be that they have to cash in, particularly if they don't make the
I think
upset
before
the manager.
June the 30th as well.
It would upset the manager because he's like his son. He's his favourite player. He plays every game. He's the last one to come off. He loves Morgan Rogers. You know, he brought him for £12 million from Middlesbrough, took a gamble on him, and I agree, £100 million.
It's now frustrating, isn't it? Because if you sell Morgan Rogers, you're sort of almost admitting that you're never really going to bridge that gap.
Financial fair play.
Cricket balls are red, baseballs are white, American footballs are brown, and tennis balls are yellow. We don't even think about it, really. But the story behind the tennis ball is actually quite interesting and even involves Sir David Attenborough. I know. Well, here's the tale. Tennis is widely known to be a French sport. It dates back to the 12th century when people used handmade balls, and it was then called tennis, which is the verb to hold in French. And people used some pretty wacky material to make the balls with: cork, wool, chalk, animal fur, and even human hair. A few centuries on, Germany got dead into the tennis too, but wanted to make a few modifications to the ball to make it a bit more effective. Around this time, an American chemist had just created something called vulcanized rubber. Out of that, people started developing air-filled rubber balls, which were properly bouncy, but either red or grey in colour. These were manufactured in Melton Mowbray. That's right, the home of the pork pie. One problem, the balls kept on breaking on impacts with the racket. The call of "new balls please" seemingly coming over every other point. Step forward English lawyer and tennis enthusiast John Moyer Heathcote, who suggested balls be covered in flannel to stop them from degrading. And thus the modern-day tennis ball was born. But these were white or black, so how did they become yellow? Well, in 1967, the controller of BBC Two, one Sir David Attenborough, decided the corporation should show Wimbledon on colour TV. He got his wish, and it was wide into people's homes across the country. The only sticking point: the white balls were nearly impossible to see on the screen. So the International Tennis Federation, sensing an opportunity, started developing a new ball that would be visible even without the need for 4K LED displays. Not that anyone had that in the late 60s. After rigorous testing, they came up with the colour optic yellow and decided every ball be coated in that colour from there on in. And there you have it. Tennis balls are yellow, all because Sir David Attenborough wanted to watch Wimbledon from the comfort of his own front room. You could say the ITF aced it. Welcome along to Masters Sunday. It's the weekend sports breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne, alongside former Millwall striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
Arsenal, could it be happening again? You've seen this movie before. Alex Scott got the winner for Bournemouth as the Gunners dropped 3 massive points at the Emirates.
Ball running through to Scott, who's running through the centre. He's charging through the middle and he slammed it home. And Arsenal are behind again. Alex Scott scores for Bournemouth.
What happens next? We have to wait and see. And in another news, it was a routine win for the Gypsy King at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Post-fight, Fury mentioned who he wants next.
Let's give the fight fans what they want. The Battle of Britain. And here's my challenge. I challenge you, Andy Joshua, to fight me, the Gypsy King, next.
Looking forward to that if it happens. In other news, Roberto De Zerbi is in charge for the first time as Spurs manager. Today, the journey out of the relegation zone begins against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light.
I want to stay focused on Sunderland and the other 6 games again, but my idea is very clear.
Sure, Arsenal fans will be looking and hoping to get a wee spring in their step based on what Spurs do today. We want to hear from you this morning. 03717 223344 81089 is the text number. Arsenal fans, are you confident you can still get the job done? We want to hear from you. And we're building up to the final day at the Masters. Can Rory retain the green jacket? It's the weekend sports breakfast on talkSPORT. Morning. So, Let's switch gears. Talk about Tottenham Hotspur, shall we? Roberto De Zerbi, what can you
North
do?
London forever this morning.
Well, it's just what it is, isn't it?
I know.
This is huge.
Do you know what's ironic today is that Spurs need a win to get out of the bottom three. A draw's going to keep them in the bottom three.
A draw keeps them there then?
Yeah.
That's the math, okay.
Yeah, West Ham got 32 points, Tottenham have got 30, and a draw still keeps them in the bottom three.
7 games to save Spurs this season and stay in the Premier League.
West Ham coming out of the relegation zone. Tottenham going into it before their game against Sunderland. Roberto De Zerbi takes charge for the first time this weekend.
Tottenham aren't in a relegation fight because the team lack ability. They're in a relegation fight because of the poor attitude their players have displayed for most of the season. I don't care if they didn't want to play for Thomas Frank. I don't care if they didn't like Igor Tudor's direct approach and his bluntness. They owe it first and foremost to the fans who pay their wages, and secondly, they need to show a bit of professional pride.
If they go there and lose, it could be curtains, because the Serbi as well, the style of football he was playing at Marseille and Brighton, Spurs cannot play that kind of football.
What has he had? He's probably had nearly 10 days maybe before the game kicks off. He can't have that hard approach, I don't think, at this stage. That's got to be something in the summer, and you work out who's with you, who's not.
I have to be ready to stay no matter what in the next season. So I want to stay focused on Sunderland and the other 6 game again. But my idea is very clear.
His idea is clear. The job is clear. Keep Spurs in the Premier League. Pleased to say, join us now, Spurs legend, former defender Gary Mabbutt is with us now. Gary, good to see you again. How are you keeping?
Hi, Gary.
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, Shebahn. Good morning, Cask. And always a pleasure to join you both on the show.
You're so nice. Thank you.
Come on, Gary. How are you feeling today? Because obviously it's a vital game in many ways. I was saying there that a draw's not enough to get Spurs out of the bottom three. I still think you pinch yourself, can't believe you're actually in this position.
No, to be honest, Cask, I think it's I've been at the club now for 43 years non-stop. I think it's the first time that I've seen us in the bottom three. So, of course, we're not used to being there. And, of course, we don't want to be there. And now we've got the opportunity today. We've got 7 games left, Cask and Shebahn, and these are probably the most important games in the club's recent history. And, of course, Roberto coming in, we've been quite fortunate, the fact that we've had these 3 weeks, because 2 weeks, international weeks, went in the FA Cup last weekend, so 3 weeks to prepare. He's been there for about 10 days now, and hopefully the chaps will understand what he wants them to produce on the field of play. Yeah. When I say that, Cask, is because when you look at him at Brighton and Marseille, the way that his tactics and things, I just think for the next 7 games, he's got to make sure he goes out there with a very simplistic style, simplistic way that the players understand their roles within the team, because this season, we've gone out to play a lot of games and we've not actually looked like we've known what we were doing. So keep it simple, get the players knowing what they have to do. And again, we go out there because we are fighting for our Premiership lives.
Gary, I'd add to that, you know, you're in a position, an away game as his first game feels like, do you know what? That's a little thing to grab hold of, that you're away, you're not at home in the first game when it can change quite quickly, the atmosphere. On the away game, you tend to get the supporters that have huge following that really want to back you in his first game.
Casca, the fans have been absolutely amazing. The last home game against Nottingham Forest, to be honest, before the game, the crowd turned up like we'd won the European Trophy again. Gave a fantastic welcome to the stadium. First half, they produced what we wanted them to, and second half, we capitulated. That can't happen now. We have to make sure that Roberto coming in, and you know what it's like, Cask, when a new manager comes in, there's always that bounce. There's always that honeymoon period, because every single player starts with a clean slate. Those out of favour, those on the fringes, everyone now is fighting for their places. And that should increase the attitude, the intensity within the players themselves. And going to Sunderland, always a tough place to go, but we've got a great record there. Our last 7 away games there, we won 4 and drawn 3. Sunderland, fantastic, I think, coming back up into the top flight. They've had an incredible season, which I didn't really expect from them. They've done incredibly well, but their last 3 home Premier League games, they've lost. So you say it's an away game to go to, but I feel that the support will be there. I feel the intensity of the players will be there. It's a game, as you said before, we must win.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, I'm looking for individuals that you think can turn the corner, because, I mean, Archie Gray, I think he's been outstanding when I've watched him, especially in the last few months. You know, Bergvall, if he gets into the side, again, likewise, that young legs who can inspire. And you have got leaders in the team. They just, for me, have to lead in a slightly different way. Not about what's going on with a club and could they be leaving to go to another club at the end of the season, because there's still a lot of good players at Spurs.
Absolutely. And, these players are now, they're playing for their own pride as well.
Yeah.
This season, I feel that you mentioned Archie Gray. He will be a successful, outstanding captain of our club in the future, I believe. And this season, the games, the way he's performed, you say Bergvall's coming as well. The two of those together in the middle of midfield, that'll be a very good, I think, point to start from, because they have a lot of energy. They'll try and make things happen. And of course, Xavi Simons, he's one that can actually. We talk about clubs. I heard you speaking earlier about Arsenal and West Ham's great victory on Friday. I mean, Jared Bowen, he's the one that makes West Ham tick.
Mm-hmm.
Declan Rice, he's the one that makes Arsenal play. When they're both playing at their top of their games, their teams react to that. Now, we need someone like Xavi Simons, players to step up to the mark today. You mentioned leadership. Every single player has to take their own opportunity today to be a leader on that field of play. You got Mickey van der Ven, you got Romero, players that need to keep their discipline, but go out there and give everything. Cass, the fans don't mind in the end what the result is today. But as long as the players go out there with 100% effort, desire, determination and passion, the fans will be behind them. And if they give it that today, and hopefully we can get those 3 points.
Yeah. I mean, you can hear your passion, you can hear your hope as well, Gary. And that's one thing that we haven't seen from these players, it seems, this season. It's like a lack of passion and a lack of, pride to wear that shirt and really fight. So if De Zerbi can bring that out of them today, I think they will survive. Do you?
Yes, to be honest, I was lucky enough to be captain for 11 years and I allowed no negativity in my dressing room. So I'm always positive. I believe that we'll get out of this situation that we are in. I believe we'll be in the Premier League for next season. But it needs some great performances from this team. As I mentioned before, 7 games, 21 points to be won, and we have to go out there and give everything we possibly can to get those points.
All right. Gary, thank you so much for your time today. Are you going to head up to the game or are you watching at home?
No, I'm watching it at home. I'm going to the Wolves away game week after next. But no, I'll be watching it at home today.
Good luck to you. Enjoy it.
Cheers,
Thank you
Gary.
for your time today.
Thank you. Take care.
Spurs legend Gary Mabbutt there. Is he not just a breath of fresh air?
Well, he was a fantastic pro, Gary.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have played against him a couple of times in my career, but he absolutely wore the badge with, so much honesty, and he loved the football club, and he knows the standards. He's played with great players at that football club as well.
There's a crazy stat this week that PSG have beaten more Premier League teams this season than Spurs have. Yeah. That just shows you it's been dire. It's been absolutely dire. And you made a great kind of passionate speech a little while ago when we're speaking about the idea of Spurs in the relegation zone. Well, now they're here. There it is in black and white. How when you were at Marseille, it was all about the individual, and do we all want to play for pride and play for this club? I hope we see that from these players today, because the fans deserve more.
If there's no reaction to a new manager coming in and where they are, then you're in serious trouble.
Yeah.
And the fans, like Gary said, they all play their part today. Like I was at the Forest game at Spurs. The atmosphere before the game was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The fans absolutely played their part. Then they got blown away. Their team gets blown away 3-0. And then afterwards, people saying, oh, well, them Spurs fans that left the game. It's when Spurs fans played their part.
Yeah.
Their team didn't.
Yeah, it's a 2:00 kickoff today away at the Stadium of Light against Sunderland. Roberto De Zerbi's first in charge of Spurs. Can he save them? Can he keep them in the Premier League? You'll find out today. All the updates on Game Day Live with Sam Matterface here on talkSPORT this afternoon. Stay with us. We're going to get all the latest odds for the sport, and coming up today, all the events from Coral next. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Search VW Transporter to find out more.
How does he go about saving Spurs? Because we were talking about this on the Premier League All Access podcast. He's a pure football man. He wants to play a certain way, but the time it takes to get that injected into the players' veins is not long enough for the time that he's had in terms of being on the training ground. So does he have to be a little bit more simple in his approach? Does he have to work with the resources he's got?
Yeah.
And what are those?
What has he had? He's probably had nearly 10 days maybe before the game kicks off. He can't have that hard approach, I don't think, at this stage. That's got to be something in the summer, and you work out who's with you, who's not. At the moment, he's got to work out what formation he's going to play, who's going to be his best players. And you look at the midfielders available, bring them down, Sam, like Bergvall, Gallagher, Paulinho, Sarr, Gray. Out of those centre midfielders, who do you choose out of them?
Well, it's great to have Bergvall back for a start, and it's great to have a choice, because one of the problems they've had over the season is they haven't been able to have a choice because there's been so many injuries.
But even going forward, Tell, Simmons.
Kudos has picked up a setback, hasn't he?
Exactly. Mwani, Solanke, Richarlison. He's got to work out which of these players is going to get the goals that they need. Van der Ven.
It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Celtic striker Tony Cascarino. Fly like an eagle.
Yeah.
Anything for golf references this morning, please.
Oh, right. Okay.
You know that one.
I don't know the song.
Who sings Fly Like an Eagle, DJ Jasper? Seal. There you go.
Was it? Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
He's another great singer, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he's got some tunes, to be fair. There you go. Fly Like an Eagle. Don't forget it's Masters final day today. Rory shares the lead at the top with Cam Young. Also up there, Lowry at 4 under. Rose at 3 under. It's going to be a great Sunday. You know, yesterday we were buzzing for Rory to have a 6-shot lead.
Yeah.
And then it all kind of went to pot a wee bit yesterday. But
well, he could be
exciting for today.
Yeah, I mean, look, it isn't all about Rory, is it? There's a lot of, there's Justin Rose there. I mean, look how he lost last year to Rory in a playoff. Shane Lowry's in there. Tommy's fell away a bit, Tommy Fleetwood. But there's some really great British-Irish players that are there. So, I mean, would I like to see Rory go back-to-back? Yeah. But if he doesn't and someone else wins that deserves it. I mean, I said yesterday his biggest danger was Cameron Young.
Yeah.
Because he played nearly as well as Rory the day before and missed a lot of putts.
You wondered if we're underestimating Shane Lowry as well. You wondered if that is something that we should be looking or thinking about. I mean, a hole-in-one yesterday. To do that at a Masters tournament.
Well, he's done that quite a few times. Not the Masters, but all different majors.
Crazy.
He's also got a game where his swing doesn't seem to get affected. So he can trust his swing. Shane's a very exceptional talent.
Well, you're an exceptional talent as well here, Cass, because Happy Gilmore, the iconic golf game, came alive in 1996. Adam Sandler is the actor in the movie Happy Gilmore. Have you seen Happy Gilmore?
I've heard the film. I've heard of it.
Yeah, we dug through the archives from near 3 decades ago and found an edition tape of sorts from some of our very special people here at talkSPORT. You being one of them. Have a listen to Shooter McGavin versus Cassie Gilmore.
Oh dear.
Well, you really crushed that ball off the tee, I'll tell you what. You'd be something in one of those long drive contests. Yeah, you could probably get a very good living, traveling around, hustling at driving ranges. Thanks, Phil.
I know what you're doing right now, and I don't like it. So why don't you just shut your trap before I put my foot in it?
Don't turn your back on me. Let's get one thing straight. This is Shooter's tour. I've worked hard my whole life, paid my dues, and now it's Shooter's turn. And Shooter's not about to let his reign at the top be spoiled by some freak, sideshow clown.
Did you just call me a freak? I was on this tour for one reason, money. But now I've got a new reason, kicking your butt.
Well, I'd like to see you try. Just stay out of my way, or you'll pay. Listen to what I say.
How about just go and eat some hay? I can make things out of clay and lay by the bay. I just may. What do you say?
Please take me far.
You'll go far.
Oh dear, no.
That's one of, congratulations, the worst American accents I've ever heard.
I wasn't trying to be American.
What was that then?
I don't know, it's just an accent. I wasn't trying to be American.
I felt you were trying to be a bit American there.
Put your hands up, you bum.
Yep.
Put my hands up, my what?
Brilliant. Time now to get the latest odds with Coral.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Very own Stuart McGavin. John Hill from Coral is with us now. Morning, John.
Oh, good morning. That's absolutely brilliant. Now, listen, after hearing that clip, we've just slashed the odds on Cass winning the Best Picture at the Oscars next year.
Yeah.
Honestly, they'll be piling in today to back Cass after that performance. Oscar winning. Absolutely brilliant.
So come on, where are we? Let's start at the title because
Moving on, John. He's moving on quickly.
Sorry, I'm still. I can't get it out of my head. That clip. That was brilliant.
Send it to you.
John, now
Yeah, come on,
Arsenal
let's do
were
it.
obviously very short in the last
They
few
were.
weeks. How much has changed overnight?
Well, massively, absolutely dramatically. They were 11-2 City yesterday to win the title. They're now 7-4. Arsenal were as short as 1-8. They're out to 2-5. So this is all to play for now, isn't it? It was a huge, huge result yesterday, that game against Bournemouth. City now effectively in their hands, isn't it, really? To win today, win their game in hand, beat Arsenal, the goal difference works in their favour. They can do it. So, all to play for. And it's going to be fascinating for the neutral, isn't it?
Yeah. We should look back as well on yesterday, Grand National. How did you do? I know Maximus won, but did it hurt you, John?
It was a popular favourite, I have to say. I'm not going to get the violin out on a Sunday morning for bookmakers, but it was a bold-back favourite, I have to say. Congratulations to anyone who did back it, because great performance. Two-time winner now. He'll be looking to emulate Red Rum next year as the only three-time winner of the race. So brilliant performance. Willie Mullins doing it again, the Irish trainer. And Paul Townley, I thought, gave it a great ride, Cass. Stayed out of trouble, the inside route. Showed all his experience, and congratulations. Did either of you two back it, or
no? Second.
Not managed to find the winner. Second.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame.
Jamie won. He won. Is it that's something power? That came in each way.
Oh right.
Oh nice.
Yeah, so
Very
he
good.
got an each way win on that. But
that'll do.
It was done on my account, so good luck getting your money.
So you'll take the winnings. Yeah, you'll go shopping today, will you, Shebahn?
I put it on for him. This is fair, John. This is fair.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely.
Talk to us about Spurs then against Sunderland today. What's the odds of Roberto De Zerbi keeping Spurs in the Prem?
Yeah, well, after that West Ham victory on Friday night, was it? Yeah, Friday night. They're now favourites, Spurs, to go down. 6-4 favourites. West Ham, that was a huge result for them. So he's got to get off to the ground running, hasn't he, De Zerbi? There's no time to settle in. Obviously, take on Sunderland today. They're 13-8 favourites to win that one. But Sunderland having a great season themselves, a great chance of a top half finish. They're 8-5 to prevail in this one. The draw 12-5, and of course Forest as well trying to fight for their Premier League survival. In terms of relegation betting, they're a lot bigger. They're 9-2 at Forest, but still work to do. They take on Aston Villa today, 8-5 Forest in this one. Villa 13-8. Obviously Villa on the back of a good result against Bologna in the Europa League. So we'll see if these sides are in action on Thursday. A little bit tired today, and see if they make any changes.
I want to get to the golf, John, but just briefly, the Premier League, Chelsea are taking on obviously Man City at 4:30.
Yes,
There's other games.
that one, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, City are even money favourite in this one. Chelsea 12-5, 14-5 draw. As I mentioned, after that Arsenal slip up yesterday, there's even more pressure on City to get a result today. So even money in that one, and then the other game at 2:00, Palace taking on Newcastle. Newcastle 6-5 favourites here. Palace 9-5. But let's talk about the golf this evening, guys. What a Sunday night we're in for.
John.
Like you,
John, price change. Now, we talked about price change of Arsenal. What was Rory was literally 4-11 on yesterday to win it. So today it's obviously very different.
Yeah, it's changed massively. Just like the Arsenal title odds, I think it's as short as 1-4 with us at one stage. Rory in that round yesterday when he got off to a good start, but now 6-4. So he's still top of the betting, but he's got Cameron Young alongside him, who's an excellent golfer. He's 9-4 to win his first green jacket. Sam Burns right in there at 7-1. We shouldn't forget about Scotty Scheffler, world number 1, 4 shots back. He could easily pull that deficit back in the first 4 or 5 holes, knowing Scotty Scheffler. He's 10-1. And then Shane Lowry, you mentioned that hole in one yesterday, Shebahn. I agree with you. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves, Shane Lowry. He just plays with a smile on his face, doesn't he? He plays as if he's just on his local golf course, when in fact he's played at Augusta National in the opening major of the season. He's 12-1 to get his green jacket. And then Justin Rose, I'd love to see him win it after that disappointment last year in the playoff. He's 14-1. So we've mentioned 7 names there. And, you know, any one of them could win it tonight. It's going to be great entertainment, isn't it?
It's going to be a brilliant Sunday, that's for sure. John, enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Cheers, guys. Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
I'll speak to you soon. That was a look at the latest odds with Coral. 18+, BeGambleAware.org. Please gamble responsibly.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Coming up for you next on the Weekend Sports Breakfast, we'll build up to Chelsea, Man City at 4:30 today.
Managers can be petulant, players can be petulant, just like owners can be.
De Zerbi was. I mean, you know, you can say De Zerbi, and he's walked into the Tottenham job. You know, like.
Would you take him at Chelsea?
Right here, right now.
Why are you hesitating?
Well, because that's just it's a rhetorical question.
I know, but
would you take my Spurs?
Yeah, I would have, but we got De Zerbi.
I know, but you're facing relegation.
You got Rossini as the manager.
That's not the question.
Okay, what's the question? Is would you take him at Chelsea?
No.
Why?
Well, that have to give you a reason, right? No.
What do you mean? I want a reason.
Because he's petulant.
No, that's not a reason.
Well, it is.
You've had loads of petulant managers.
I know, but
you've had hundreds of them.
They get sacked.
Okay, but that's absolute garbage. Don't tell me you wouldn't take Glasner over Rossini.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, mate.
No.
What are you on about?
You're throwing your pen down.
What are you on about?
You're like a petulant
No,
child.
I know, but you're just an idiot. Like, I know you've got like a little Chelsea gig. I know you've got your little Chelsea gig going on over there.
I don't get my own way. No, so I'm throwing my pen down. How childish are you?
No, that is absolute guff.
Throw that.
That is absolute guff. You're talking absolute garbage. Don't talk garbage. Glasner is a million times better.
morning. It's the weekend sports breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne. Former Marseille striker Tony Cascarino is here. Who sings that?
Stones.
Is it? I don't know. Yeah, it is.
Stones.
It is. It's called Nervous Breakdown by the Stones. We're doing a bit of pressure today. Arsenal dropping points yesterday against Bournemouth. Credit to the Cherries. Also, Rory dropping a 6-shot lead at the Masters yesterday, which was a bit of a shocker.
Well, look, he didn't play well in the first 2 days, obviously off the tee. He made a load of putts. Yesterday he didn't make putts. He got in some seriously bad positions with his drives. And look, it'd have taken all day long. At the start of the tournament, if he'd be in the final group, it'd have taken that.
Do you know, he did say today he's going to play like he's got a green jacket. Yeah. Go for it.
He's got to go. But there were some holes that, because he drives it so long, he can get himself in a lot more trouble. I mean, look, Rory's an instinctive player. If he needs to get out of a certain club and do it, he's capable.
Yeah, looking
like
forward
we've seen
to it.
before.
Listen, it makes it all the more interesting tonight. Looking forward to it. Masters.
How can I tell Rory McIlroy how to play the last round?
Can't, because you're absolutely mental.
I find that hilarious. He once said that. He was getting really angry. This is a few years back. He was asked a question. He said, "So I'm going to listen to an 18 handicap golfer how I should play." He literally buried all 18 handicappers.
Did you hear Scotty Scheffler yesterday to the reporter? The reporter said, shot 7 under, whatever it was. Do you not think that it could have been better?
I know.
Scotty went, stupid question. Next.
Well, no, it is a stupid question. Of course, anything can go better. What, 18 under par? Could I go and shoot 18? No, there's being realistic. So when you've come off the back of a great round and someone says to you, well, could it have been better?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, he had a good round actually yesterday, Scotty. Looking forward to this tonight. All the updates, of course, on talkSPORT. Here's what else is coming up for you today. After us, Sean Custis and Henry Winter have the Sunday edition. Max and Charlie on after them with a warm-up from 11 o'clock, and then Game Day Live with Sam Matterface from 1:30. All of the goals as they go in. What have you got to look forward to today? Palace Newcastle at 2, Forest Villa at 2, Sunderland Spurs, and then 4:30 Chelsea take on Manchester City, and the updates will be on that show with Madge and Pards back on the final word tonight, and then it's the Trans Euro Express from 9 o'clock. Stay with us here at talkSPORT on the talkSPORT app. You can keep across absolutely everything, and as ever, you can watch us on the smart TV as well. But let's focus now on the late game today. 4:30 kick-off between Chelsea and Manchester City at the Bridge. Both clubs mark their returns from the international break with FA Cup victories. Man City looking to capitalise on Arsenal's loss yesterday versus a very inconsistent Chelsea. Ahead of the game, Pep Guardiola knows his side cannot drop any more points.
Hopefully we can do a lot of points. It's at the situation that we are in the Premier League, so we need to do all of them. Otherwise, we will not give us a chance to try it until the end. So we need to do a lot of points. We were not consistent enough during the season. We dropped points that we should take it, and that's why we're in the position that now we cannot do it.
Can we? I mean, it's possible now. It really, really is. Let's look ahead with former Man City, Chelsea and Spurs striker Clive Allen. Good morning, Clive.
Hi, Clive.
Good morning, Shebahn. Good morning, Tony.
Clive, tell us what you think. Obviously, you've played for both clubs, Man City and Chelsea. We've got Pep seemingly being very relaxed where, you're looking at his running and the game today, and everyone seems to be, especially from the Arsenal side, pessimistic about what's happening to them. And yet Pep is feet on the ground. We've got to go to Stamford Bridge and we've got to win.
Yeah, he's very cool and calm. I think he's been there before, and I think he's showing all his experience, really. I think, Arsenal are coming under pressure, but, they're in a fabulous position and deserve to be there. But all of a sudden, Pep is coming up on the rails. So the pressure's on Arsenal. He's taking the pressure off of his players and his club.
And what have you made of them, Clive? Because obviously in the last few weeks with the settling in of Gay and Semenya, and then seeing players like Cherky come in, and really sort of upbeat performances of late as well.
Yeah, I think those players have just taken a little while just to adapt to being at City, really, but fabulous acquisitions. Gay, I think I've seen him play there a number of times live, and he's just really fitted in beautifully. Semenya hit the ground running, scoring goals, taking the pressure perhaps off of Haaland a little bit. And Cherky is one of those little magicians that on his day can win the game for you.
And Chelsea, because I come away so often from Stamford Bridge and think, God, Chelsea were good for 60 minutes, really good, and showed so many good things. And yet other times you come away and think, where are they this season in comparison to, being sixth in the table and trying to fight for this Champions League spot?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Tony. Inconsistency, whether that's because it's a relatively young group of players, perhaps need an old experienced head in there. That's not something that's been there, has been their policy. But it just smacks of that a little bit for me, that, an old head who's great Premier League experience, who can just help those young players to find a little bit more consistency, because they're talented, a really talented group.
Would you have a position on the pitch you think it's more, obviously, a better position to have, have a midfielder who's a captain or a leader or centre-half? Because they've had these in the past. Thiago's was a great centre-half for Chelsea in his latter years.
Absolutely. I think down that spine, as we always say, a centre-half, a central midfield player. I think in Pedro they have a magnificent talent leading the line. And so much quality on the front line, and it's having that steadying, calming influence that young players develop it over time. But this is a group that don't really seem to have that individual at the moment.
Where do you stand on Enzo Fernandez then, Clive? Not in the game today, obviously, because of his chat about Real Madrid and the international break. Is it a risk now taking him away from the squad today?
It is, but I do understand, the stance that the club are making. And also, again, because it's a young group, they need to understand, where the lines are, that it's all about Chelsea. They're employed by Chelsea. They want them totally committed to the club. And I think it sends a warning to the other players as well. So, are they going to miss him? They will if they miss out on European football, which has to be a priority. And this is one of the biggest games of the season for both teams at this stage of the season and where they both stand.
I do remind myself, Clive, and you don't need reminding of it, but you've played for City, Arsenal, Chelsea and Spurs.
Big day for you, Clive.
Thanks, Cass. Yeah, you're right.
You'll be busy.
I mean, you're looking at the games today and yesterday, and I was thinking, Clive, I mean, apart from that, I can think of a good few others. You even played for Millwall, didn't you? You was there for a period of time. You've done the whole circuit of clubs.
Yeah, quite a few. West Ham, Tottenham as well in the Premier League. So, yeah, I had some great times at City before joining Chelsea, and obviously I played with you at Chelsea. So, I've enjoyed those experiences, and obviously always looking out for those clubs. And it is going to be a very, very close finish to the end of the season, both at the top and the bottom, unfortunately.
Go on then. Who do you think's going to stay up?
Well, there's two going down, which is a brave prediction, isn't there? I do think it's one of four, and I'm going to say that Leeds are going to go, because Leeds have got to play all the others around them. If they get results against Leeds, I see Leeds being in trouble. And I have to say that because obviously Tottenham and West Ham are two of my old clubs.
Yeah, and they're playing tomorrow night, aren't they, away at Old Trafford as well? So, toughy for them.
Yeah, and obviously the way the way this weekend unfolds, Spurs need to win. They've dropped into the bottom three. West Ham got a great win. Forest play Villa, and all of a sudden, by Monday night, that Manchester United game for Leeds could be a very, very big game for them.
For sure. Listen, Clive, we hear you're watching the golf as well. You're following the Masters. What do you think is going to happen tonight?
Oh yeah, Shebahn, it's been absolutely sensational. I didn't expect Rory to do what he did last night. And looking at it, I think Scheffler is becoming quite ominous in the way that he's progressing through the field. I think it's going to go right to the wire. I think it's going to be a close one.
Yeah.
I had a fancy for Fleetwood, but I think he's probably just a few shots off. And Justin Rose, again, has been quite magnificent. So it's going to be a thrilling finish, I think, and I hope that perhaps Rory does get over the line.
You'd be gutted, wouldn't you, for Justin Rose if he's running up again?
Oh, absolutely.
That'd be the fourth time, back-to-back years running up.
Yeah, of course. There's always a story at the Masters, isn't
always.
there? A great story. We had it last year, we've had it in many other years, and now we're looking at this year. And this is a great final day, that's for sure.
Yeah, listen, you've just got about an hour to get yourself a wee nap before your Super Sunday all gets underway, Clive. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, Clive.
Pleasure, thank you.
Take care of yourself. Former Man City, Chelsea and Spurs striker Clive Allen with us this morning. It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of them great days. It really is. It's 7:35, I think, is the last tease.
Rory, see you time.
I'm at Chelsea, so I'll be going home. I think I'll get just about back for the sort of 7:15, 7:30. So I'll be stuck on the sofa, literally bag of crisps, a nice drink, and watch it
What's
all
your crisps
unfold.
of choice?
Oh, anyone's.
Just any crisps?
I love all crisps. The only one, Worcester sauce, I don't particularly like.
Depends.
Smoky bacon, chicken. I could go through loads.
Do you know what? See the sensations, sweet chili sensations
Yeah.
at the moment. Oh, but sorry, I know other crisps are available and other brands and all that. But see, in the Co-op, you get sea salt and Chardonnay crisps.
Sea salt and
Sea salt and Chardonnay vinegar crisps.
Yeah.
Thank me later. If you're listening to this now, you're going into a Co-op, get them. They're so good.
I know there's a few out there. I told you about the egg ones, didn't I? Fried eggs.
Yeah, no, I'm not for that.
They were lovely.
Fried egg crisps.
Yeah.
You are a weirdo, but that's why we love you. All the updates from the Masters coming today. Don't forget, of course, it all kicks off between Chelsea and Manchester City at 4:30 today. Those updates all part of Game Day Live with Sam Matterface, CC'd at 1:30 for kick-off of Palace Newcastle, Forest Villa, Sunderland Spurs at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Coming up for you next on the Weekend Sports Breakfast, we have time for a little bit of Cascarino. Yes, Cascarino. Good morning.
Eddie Howe deserves to keep his job definitely in the summer, rebuild his squad of players, probably no European football next season, but you have to be honest and say the Premier League season hasn't been good enough at Newcastle standards. That's
But is that because of the fact that they haven't got a deep enough squad?
Of course, they haven't got a deep enough squad, but the players that they've had available, they shouldn't be behind Sunderland in the league.
But aren't we back to the same discussion that we had when we were talking about Aston Villa? And that is that they have owners that are wealthy, probably wealthier than everybody else, but yet they're unable to spend because of the financial restrictions. And as a result, that's keeping them further down the pecking order.
Who do you think?
Because you look at their last few seasons, Champions League qualification, then out.
Yep.
Great season getting to the winning the cup competition, getting to the Champions League, and then out. So what's next season? Another great season, and then the following season not being able to sustain it?
The problem they've got...
It's up and down, up and down, up and down. Because
Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. If you made it through the Easter holidays, juggling work and children, don't worry. A lot of you have an inset day to look forward to tomorrow.
Yes.
You're not happy about that, are you, Cass? Call them out.
After two and a bit weeks off for the kids, then you got an inset day. What's that about?
Do you know, one time when my kids were in reception, I took them back to school and it was an inset day. I was mortified. The kids were like, Mum, what's wrong with you?
I'm sure they work very, very hard, teachers, but an inset day straight after an Easter break.
Yeah, you're kind of saying what everyone's thinking, to be honest. Competition time now here at talkSPORT. It's a big one. Do you want to go to Wimbledon on Monday, the 6th of July? We've got centre court tickets up for grabs, official seats there, also exclusive lounge, very posh lounge access to soak up the best atmosphere. For your chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or call this number if you would rather, 0343 418 7260. The lines close on the 16th of April, 4 o'clock. Answer your phone that day if it rings. That's 0343 418 7260. It's 18 plus, UK residents only. It's a network promotion. If you want to read all the terms and conditions, if that's your kind of thing, jump onto the website at talksport.com. Wimbledon on the 6th of July. You could be there. Good luck. Text WIN to 83338 now. By the way, good luck to everyone who's doing the Brighton Marathon today.
Right.
That'll be underway very, very soon. I think the Paris Marathon happens today as well, because I've got a couple of friends doing that. 2 weeks on Sunday, it's the London Marathon. So, fingers crossed for me. Hashtag pray for me and my legs. Really quickly, Scottish Premiership really tightening up. Yeah. Very, very tasty. Rangers Celtic Hearts on the quest to clinch the title come the end of May. Looking at yesterday, of course, Celtic got their win over St Mirren. Hearts then beat Motherwell 3-1, and Rangers play Falkirk today, away to Falkirk, 12 o'clock this afternoon. Hearts on 70 points, Celtic on 67 points, Rangers on 66 points.
I saw Hearts were losing it.
They went 1-0 down. Yeah. And I was, that way I was just looking at live scoring and I saw Celtic were winning. I was like, come on. And naturally Shankland's on and they're winning again. So good stuff. We will keep you posted on that here on Game Day Live for Rangers' game today away to Falkirk. Time now for a little bit of this.
Cascarino yes or Cascarino no? On the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. What?
Yep, just doing the basics really, asking Cass a question, but he has to answer with a Cascarino yes, Cascarino no. He never does that. Never says Cascarino yes or Cascarino no. But we will chase him this time for it. Let's start with this one. Harry Maguire signed a new deal to stay at Manchester United. His last contract due to expire this summer. In a recent interview, he said, I'm arguably one of the best defenders in the world in both boxes, even at my age. I don't think it's in question. Darren Bent earlier this week disagreed with his comments.
Listen, there's going to be people listening to that guy and is he having a laugh? But you got to listen to what he said. In terms of both boxes, defensively, he seems to get his head to an awful lot and gets his head on it and clears it. And even if he doesn't score from attacking corners or free kicks, he tends to get the first contact, whether he's knocking it back into an area or he's going for goal. So there's an argument he's probably up there.
What about it? What do you think?
What's a threat?
Both boxes?
Yeah, he's 6'4", 6'5". Harry is very dominant and he does it well. He does it four corners. You've got to ask the question why Gareth Southgate had him so much as the importance of having him in the team or England for a number of years. You've got to ask why Manchester United paid $80 million for him. And Michael Carrick's come back to the club and he straight away wants to keep him.
He'd also mentioned about being in a title race next season. Man United do it next season, do you think? With Spurs this summer?
They played like they did in the second half of the season. They ain't going to be far off, are they?
Okay. Cascarino, yes?
What, to win the title?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, cool.
But they'll be roundabouts next year. They'll be a much bigger threat. And if they do good business in the summer and get like they did last summer, of course they're going to be a threat.
Tomorrow will mark like a month since we've seen Manchester United play. It's been that long. Yeah. It's live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Manchester United take on Leeds in the Premier League exclusively for you here. 8 o'clock kickoff. You've got Adrian Durham as ever. Commentary from Sam Matterface and former Man United captain Steve Bruce on that one. Right, Cass. Pep Guardiola said yesterday that he's not spoken to Bernardo Silva about his future, but would love him to stay at Manchester City. This follows last week's news that Silva would be leaving this summer. Bernardo Silva, is he right to stay there with the modern day City legends? Is he up there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they had that scenario with Gundogan, didn't they, a couple of years back, where they lost him and how well he was playing. Bernardo Silva, for the best part of 7-8 years now, I'm sure he's been there probably that long. Has been maybe not as good as De Bruyne, and I would probably put David Silva in front of him. But I think he's definitely in that group of the top 3 to 5. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you think he'll go?
It's never probably Spain.
Yeah.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
He's still got a lot to offer. So I think he'll go Spain.
And don't forget, Manchester City at the Bridge today against Chelsea. The updates here on Game Day Live with Sam Matterface. Right, in other news, this came out earlier on today in a history-making move. Union Berlin has appointed Marie-Louise Etta as head coach through the rest of the season. She'll become the first woman to coach a men's team in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. Cascady yes, Cascady no. Do you think this opens the door for women's managers in the Premier League?
Yes, it will happen. It's not there yet, but it will happen one day.
Yeah.
How far that's off, I'm not so sure, but I can see it's inevitable.
Good to see change, isn't it? Good to see change.
Well, if people do well enough in a certain line of work and someone thinks they're potentially the right candidate, of course that can happen.
It's interesting when we've had this chat before. I mean, it comes up.
It's like saying CEOs of business.
Yeah.
Well, there's women who are CEOs of big businesses.
And for a long time they weren't.
Exactly. So
yeah,
that's happened. So why wouldn't it happen in football?
Yeah, that's why wouldn't it happen in football. In this discussion before, people have said that maybe men in a dressing room wouldn't respect a woman coming into the dressing room and telling them what to do. Do you think there's an element of that?
Well, that comes from the same way of thinking that if someone's never played football and they're a manager, say Arsene Wenger, I mean, he did play football, but he wasn't a name, that people wouldn't respect him. You earn respect, whether you're a man or a woman, and you go into an environment, if people believe in you and buy into what you're saying, of course it can work.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's an unfair one, because there's lots of people I know who have got into jobs at clubs who weren't, top flight footballers or even professional level and dropping down. But they've proved themselves on the way up. You just don't get given a job. Someone just come in one day, oh, Shebahn, come in and do this. People who have talked about you for years might have watched your career in media. You get given jobs for a reason.
It's got to start somewhere. Well done, Union Berlin, and good luck to Marie-Louise Etta. She's the head coach now, the first in men's team history to become one of the coaches for Europe's top 5 leagues. Good luck to her. And Rory McIlroy blew his dominant lead yesterday at Augusta. Cascady yes, Cascady no. Will he steady the ship and secure his back-to-back green jackets?
Hope so. But nothing comes, I don't think, easy with Rory on the final day. It could be topsy-turvy. You're going to listen to or watch, the elite golf competition, the flagship of golf for me, the Masters. And I don't see anything but jeopardy in this final round.
I think he's going to win it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to win it.
He can win it, but there's a lot of good players there. And whoever gets over the line, fair play to them. They keep their nerve. It's an unbelievable competition.
It really is. It's been some story already this weekend. Don't forget the updates here on talkSPORT this evening as it happens. Rory comes out at 7:35.
Yeah,
is his tee-off time. So if you're
with Cameron Young, which is a tough one because
he was exceptional. Yes.
Well, they played together. Remember in the first 2 rounds they played together.
Yep.
And so Rory was with him in the amateur, and they were pretty. Cameron Young played really well, but didn't score with his putter like Rory did in the first 2 rounds.
Can't rule him out at all. Last one for you, Brighton Marathon today. Good luck to you. London Marathon on Sunday the 26th of April. Will I finish the marathon in sub 6 hours? Cascady yes, Cascady no.
Well, you told me you've done 5:50, so it's on you, isn't it? You got to go and deliver.
I'm not looking forward to it.
Don't blame the weather on the day if it's windy or rain and you didn't make it.
It's been nothing but wind and rain for all of my training.
See, look,
I'd kill for a bit of sunshine,
you
actually.
spent the early part of the show hammering Arsenal fans about their commitment, desire. You've got to do that in the marathon, I'm afraid.
That's true. Well, I tell you what, I'll be crossing the finish line. Bring your dinner. Bring your lunch. Put on the big screen with the TikToks. I'll be finishing the marathon. No doubt about it. Don't forget all of the updates from all the action.
Talk is cheap. Money buys racehorses.
Can you walk the walk? I'll be crawling the crawl. Come Sunday the 26th, that is for sure. Good luck to everyone taking part in the Brighton Marathon today. Enjoy your day, however you're taking in a mammoth day of sport. Don't forget, stay with us here on Game Day Live with Sam Matterface from all the updates from the Premier League, and then tomorrow night, Monday Night Football here on talkSPORT. Manchester United host Leeds in the Premier League. Cass, we'll see you next weekend. Enjoy the Masters.
Yeah, I will do.
Take care of yourself. Coming up next here on talkSPORT, Sean Custis and Henry Winter with the Sunday edition.
Robertson at Liverpool, Ella on the show, but here's a reminder what Robertson achieved in his career. He'll leave Anfield after 9 years. 9 years, brilliant. Over 375 appearances and having won every trophy available. What about that for a career, Ray? Did you win every one?
What's that, Al? Weren't listening.
Rob won 375 appearances.
Did he?
For Liverpool, and he's won every trophy available.
I didn't win the Champions League. That's the only one we was missing for us. We won the League Cup. I won the League Cup, FA Cup, Premier League, Cup Winners' Cup. I think it was, the UEFA Cup. Cup Winners' Cup was.
And he came with Maguire, didn't he, from Hull?
Who's another great player who's playing tonight? Who come from Hull? You get that? He's playing tonight. There's a clue for you. Another great signing.
Of course.
Bowen. He come from Hull City.
Of course he did.
All the fantastic